Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And what's up, guys? How are you doing? It has been a minute since I've been on this channel. Of course, oh my goodness, I need a haircut. It's been a minute. The last show on this channel was, of course, the what many are calling aptly a trash fire on Thursday, May 7th. That stream, of course, had to be taken down and made YouTube approved, which was great. However, let me just go ahead and say that if you're interested in finding an uncut version of the show, it does exist. I believe it was locally archived in its entirety on the Kiwi Farms. Look, I always encourage people to go listen to the uncensored versions. The reason for the censoring is strictly YouTube. YouTube requires it for me to keep the channel. So there you go. Sorry, they don't like doxing. But the unredacted version is up on Kiwi Farms. If you want to find out what was said in any of the bleeps, go there and find it. I encourage you. I've re-uploaded the stream and it in its individual before, PPP, during, and after segments, and none of them are monetized. Not that they would be anyway, tons of profanity, but just so everybody knows, it doesn't help me at all to watch them. So they're just there for posterity or whatever. So if you want to watch them, go watch them. If you want to find the uncut versions, I know someone else restreamed basically the whole thing up uncut. Go watch it there. That's cool. Perfectly fine by me. I encourage you to know all of the answers that are out there. That's that. But let's see. So then Friday, of course, Drexel and I did a chill stream on the alternate channel. Saturday and Sunday, I don't believe I did any shows, although I may have done Twitch one of those days. And then yesterday, I was going to do this show, but I ended up having to drive a whole bunch and wasn't going to be able to get the show prepped for yesterday. So, you know, it just didn't work out. But here we are today. We're doing this show, and we're going to talk about Billy Mitchell and his several lawsuits. I don't know what people know about this, but we'll take a peek at who Billy Mitchell is, what the allegations are against him, and then what the lawsuit is in reference to back at them. And yes, I do have a new picture on my wall. That is Rowboat Girly Man, the Avenging Sun. He is looking magnificent and resplendent with his iron halo. And that was given to me by a fantastic viewer and a longtime supporter of the show and friend who I've met in person several times. And he's a nice guy. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for grabbing that. It's really awesome. Okay. That being said, what else do we need to cover in the pre-show? There's some stuff we need to cover in the pre-show. The pre-show, the beginning of the show, before we get right into the meat of the thing, as people get notifications and filter in and all that stuff. All right. Trying to think. Okay, first thing, you may have heard something about an escrow for a particular fight that is allegedly being proposed. Now, I want to say no one has asked me to accept money on anyone's behalf in escrow. No one has actually said, hey, Mr. Rekieta, Nick, Jackass, will you take money in escrow for this fight that may happen between two people? No one's actually asked me. Lots of people have asked around, have talked about it, but no one has asked me to do so. So let me address that really quickly. Can I accept money in escrow? Sure. I can hold money in trust for someone. That is fine. Would I accept money in escrow? I mean, I guess. If people want that, then sure, I could do that. I would put it in my firm's IOLTA account. I would earn no interest on the money. And it would be then we would set it up, I presume, you know, not having actually had to do this for this particular thing, but we would set up a mutual arrangement, determine the terms of who would own the money, who would be entitled to the right of possession of the money in question. That would be agreed to by the parties. And then there would be contracts involved all over. They would have to get independent counsel to review it. And I would not be involved in any of that. They would make the mutual agreement. I would understand the terms of the agreement, and then I would accept the money and turn it in. Now, I know lots of people would have problems with me doing that. I understand those problems. I don't care. I don't want to hold $5,000 for any particular reason. But if people asked me to do it as a service, I can and probably would. However, if they were interested in having some other completely neutral attorney doing that, I would probably encourage them to do so. And I could also refer them. You know, I could give some references to different firms in different states that may be able to do that for them. I don't know. $5,000 is not a lot of money for a law firm to hold in trust for someone. It really wouldn't be a big deal. But that being said, no one has asked me to do so. I have not accepted to do so. So just, I'm trying to put to bed any weird speculation on that part. There's just, you know, meh. But really quickly, if someone asked me to do it and I ran off with $5,000, I would be sacrificing my law license and committing a felony. It would be highly, highly stupid for me to do it. And again, I'm not really particularly interested. I want the fight to happen because it will be unbridled hilarity. And I would love to go to that fight and enjoy the heck out of it. I think it'd be a monumental party and a lot of fun for everybody involved. So I hope it happens. If I can help facilitate that happening in some way, glad to do so, whatever that means. So cheers to you guys. Keep going. That being said, mum's the word until someone, presumably both parties, actually agree and ask me to do it. Other than that, anything you may have heard about me taking the money or holding it or anything on anyone's behalf is pure speculation. No one can show the receipts of me being in on that deal. Some people have asked me if I would be able to, and that, yeah, of course. I could hold money in trust, so long as it's not for an illegal activity. So just briefly musing on that, it would have to be probably some sort of actually sanctioned fight through some promoter. And I'm guessing the promoter would want to be the ones holding the money or involved with the escrow agent as well. So I think the likelihood of me being the escrow agent for any amount of money for this particular fight is very low. Again, I'm happy to do that if that's what people want. But I think when you start involving in an actual fight promotion, that becomes another layer because they're going to want to know and make sure that their investment in the promotion's integrity is protected, even if they don't get a cut. And they may actually want a cut of the promotional money as well. So there are layers to this that are not being considered, I think, by any of the people arguing back and forth on the internet about the propriety and possibility of escrowing money for a fight. But as a lawyer, I cannot actually be involved in the promotion of illegal activity. So if, as Tara LaRosa, who can advocate illegal activity as just a rando MMA fighter, suggested that they go fight out behind a Dairy Queen, for example. If that were the case, I would be unable to hold escrow of that money depending on what state they were in, for most of those things, because that would likely be an unlawful act, and I would be acting in furtherance of that, which even though the idea of stealing $5,000 is really, really tempting, I'd rather keep my law license and not be charged with the felony. So, that being said, that's about all I got on that issue. If you guys are watching that, great. You know, I'm watching it from the sidelines just with the rest of you, popcorn in hand. It's an interesting ride. I had no idea on Thursday what kind of tism was occurring, but it's a great one. It's very funny. So I encourage you to check it out. All right. That being said, let's get into this. I've got to buy the documents. And I'm debating on how many documents to buy. One of these documents is 1,000 pages. So, which is probably ridiculous, but it is there. So I'll probably pick that up. I think I need to change my payment settings for this though. What a mess. Let's see. Okay, I have to update my payment information, which is great. Here we go. Let me do that while we're doing this. Oh, my card's upstairs. I'll have to go. Wait. Here we go. Never mind. This is fun. It's always fun purchasing something while doing a live stream, never knowing if your credit card information is going to accidentally appear on the stream. But I think I got this one. So let's update that. So here's the thing with these lawsuits. There are 4 current lawsuits. 1 is in California. 3 are in Broward County, Florida. Okay, so I reached out on Twitter with the announcement of the show. I tagged Billy and Apollo Legend, not expecting a response, not expecting any sort of response from either of them. But I did go ahead and get a response from Billy Mitchell. He sent me a direct message, and I am going to talk to him. I'm going to ask him onto the show, not tonight. So I just want to point out that he will not be on tonight. I don't want anybody misled. But I did talk to Billy Mitchell in DMs. I'm going to invite him on the show. He wasn't available tonight. But I mentioned that that'd be fine because I'm going to read through the lawsuits and give him, you know, and give a look at them. And then that way, when I do talk to him, I may have some good informed questions for him. As for Apollo Legend, he has not responded. He may want to. If he does, Apollo, I have not made up my mind on this lawsuit. Either way, I have not made up my mind either way for Billy or Apollo or the other people involved. And I'm trying to keep an open mind on this. And I'll give everybody an honest shake and an honest opinion about what I think. Now, at first glance, based on what I've seen in articles and YouTube videos that I've checked out on this so far, it looks like both parties are on very tenuous ground here. Both parties for their respective suits. So Billy has filed 4 suits. Like I said, the one in California against Twin Galaxies was actually filed last year. Now, this is probably because I believe California has a 1-year statute of limitations on defamation claims, whereas Florida has a 2-year statute of limitation on defamation claims. If that's not the reason, I apologize. I just believe that might be the reason, because all of this stuff stems from something that happened, I believe, in June of 2018. So we're coming up very quickly on the 2-year limit in Florida. So that being said, Billy filed suit in California last year, purportedly to beat out statute of limitations, and Apollo Legends has mentioned filing a counter defamation suit with multiple plaintiffs against Billy in Florida, and they mentioned on his video, which we're going to watch these, had to happen within the next month so they could beat the statute of limitations in Florida. All right. We're going to check out Apollo's 2 videos on this. It's about 10 minutes total of video, and hopefully he doesn't mind me using it. We'll offer some commentary to spice it up and stuff. I don't really like using other people's videos, but I think they're apt here to get the message out. So, all of that being said, I think the respective suits are both on tenuous ground at my first glance, but the second one, right, the countersuit has not been actually filed, so we won't be able to judge that on any sort of merit of what's on the paper, but until they file it. But that should be coming relatively soon. That being said, Billy wanted me to convey some information here, and this. He didn't say this. I'm adding my own editorializing. I'll be clear about what he said. In reading this stuff and in watching videos and looking into this situation, Billy has been criticized mildly for filing pro se on his suits down in Florida, which means he's representing himself. He's acting as his own attorney. My understanding, based on what Billy told me, is that he intends to actually retain Florida counsel, but he had to file pro se to make sure he got inside the statute of limitations on the statements about him. Because obviously statements were made about him, he responded to those statements, and then that is going to allegedly spark the counter defamation suit. So he has mentioned that he's looking into retaining counsel down in Florida for his suits down there. And if that's the case, I suspect anything that's filed now is basically pointless, because he will likely amend those petitions once he has counsel representing him. So hopefully, I know that's a lot to kind of take in up front, but that is, I want to point that out. So I don't know if we're actually going to get to the Florida suits today. I'm kind of treating them as placeholders in my brain. I don't know that it would be profitable to read through them if they're going to get an amended filing. We follow with that, I hope. Okay. Let me go grab these documents here. All right. Woo! This is like $60 worth of documents. Curse you, LA! Oh my goodness. I heard Los Angeles County extended their stay-at-home order for 3 months today. So that's fun. Let's see. I don't want to, let's see. Hold on. Getting my receipt. This is wonderful. Oh, you guys also, in full disclosure, I of course am going to be biased towards Billy Mitchell here because, and this is a joke, but because I went to William Mitchell College of Law. So obviously I am going to shill hard for Billy Mitchell on this one. That's a joke. I did go to William Mitchell College of Law, which no longer exists because it absorbed another law school and they changed names. Good job. And but I thought that was just interesting. So when I started getting emails and messages about this, people were like, "Hey, have you seen the Billy Mitchell lawsuit?" I was like, "What? Like which one? Against the school?" Because there were suits against the school by other people. All right, let me get these things open. Oh boy. But I had no idea what people were talking about. Eternal Boomer. I didn't know who Billy Mitchell was I'd heard of the Donkey Kong thing, and I had heard of the alleged fraud of the Donkey Kong world record. It was a big news story. And then, but that's about it, you know? All right. Last document. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay. So we've got these. Let's get the complaint. Got the complaint pulled up here. This is the California complaint. And then we'll do super chats in just a second, and then we'll get into the documents. But and obviously I did get the 1,000-page document, which is the declaration of Jason Hall in support of the special motion to strike of defendant Twin Galaxies. So Twin Galaxies has filed basically a you know, like an anti-slap, right? California, what you do in California is you file a motion to strike and dismiss the lawsuit. You strike the complaint, and then if you win on that, that's the anti-slap. And then there's a slap back lawsuit that can be filed as well if the lawsuit was determined to be frivolous in the initial striking. So we've got all of that, and yeah, 1,000 pages. Oh my goodness. So that's the answer. I got to make sure there's no docs in this real quick. I don't think so. Yeah, okay, we've got it. I don't see any docs here, so we should be good. Whew! Let's go ahead and get some of these chats real quick, and then we will jump into it. Who is Billy Mitchell? You're about to learn. You're about to learn who Billy Mitchell is. We will talk about it. Okay. Fak Uniga says, PPP is watching your stream right now and masturbating vigorously as he cries. That's unsettling. Medicare's stream with him was great. He used Drexel's approach. From now on, you are no longer Nikki. From now on, you are Dickie. Okay. Pendergas21 says, single dad here, sent you an email. Navy Hill 1 is the account. Having some custody issues. Could be a Cuck College episode with Drexel. Oh my goodness. I will take a look. I have seen your email, buddy, but I have not given it a full read through. I will certainly take a look. Darian, and I'll get back to you. Darian the Ghoul says, I saw your TF stream, I think Trash Fire, and all I can say is oof. I've also missed your shows lately due to personal stuff. Been enjoying my quarantine and being off my crap job and doing what I enjoy, doing art and streaming video games. Hard to beat, man. Hard to beat. Geld Walker says, has the package arrived? No, not yet. Is the Ron Toye in the DM pic I sent the real Ron Toye, like Come Geek Some says? Is it on the YouTube videos? Just a second, let me see. Oh God, I hope so. I doubt it. I really doubt it, but I hope so. I don't know, man. That'd be great. Ron should definitely come to the chat. Let's see. Your thoughts on him coming to YouTube to comment on I Stand With Vic videos, etc. By the way, I'm getting drunk off that wine. There's no harm really in Ron doing that. You can't introduce any new evidence on appeals, so it's not like his weird statements can be brought into court to hurt him. I don't think they make him look particularly good. I'm just really, really sad that Ron got thrown off of Twitter. That makes me the most sad, because now I can't talk to Ron anymore. That was my channel of communications. And I think that is lame. So anyway, Stacy Dealman says, hi, Nick. Mine and my sister's birthday is Sunday, and we know you don't stream on weekends. Can we get a shout out? My sister's name is Tracy Dealman. Stacy and Tracy Dealman. I assume you guys are twins. Happy birthday coming up on Sunday. I hope you guys are having a good time in lockdown or out of lockdown. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a pleasant birthday. How's that? And then Miss Metro Exo Kitty says PPP is in cahoots with Montegraph, Nikki. Know where you go is safe. Behind every corner is a lawsuit with your name on it, Nikki. Oh, Monty, where'd you go? Where'd you go, Monty? What happened to his Twitter? Some people reported, Ron, I think it was a long time ago. Like, I think this is back when Ron was still unprotected on Twitter. Because I know one person who reported him, only because they sent me a message. Believe me, the last thing I want is for Ron to be blocked on Twitter. Like, that's the last thing I want. His conversations with me are the most funny thing I can come up with. It's great. I love talking to Ron, and I miss him dearly. But so someone I know sent me the receipt. They didn't even remember what they reported his account for. It was that long ago. So I think it was back when he was still unprotected. Never have unprotected tweets, right? Name says, there's as much evidence for the cleanup, cover-up, collusion around Dax as there was for Kick Vic. The stakes are lower, sure, but the behavior and the lies are the same. Insisting it's just trolls, insisting it's not happening. Well, I don't know what you want me to say for other people. Is it just trolls? I don't know. PvP is hilarious. People love watching what he's doing. And it is way more complex than I thought it was going to be. He's got all these other people involved. It's this weird organic thing. Props to him. As for the cover up, I mean, if you have to have a falsifiable argument, right? For it to be an argument or a valid discussion. Otherwise, it's just speculation. So if you don't defend it, then you're admitted to it. If you did defend it, then you had to defend it, so therefore you're in on the collusion. Well, what are people supposed to do? I think it's hilarious. And I think people may be going a little bit far with what they think is going on with Dick. I still don't know what the cover-up is or what the plan is. Like, I don't know what the secret thing that is being covered up is. So I don't know what to tell you, man. You believe what you want and go for it. It's enjoy the show. It's an amazing, it's an orchid blooming into its fertility. And I don't think it's going to be done super quick. It seems like they've got a lot of energy and hilarity packed into it. So go for it. Ace Brain 2003 says 17-1 squawk. Stacy Dealman says, yes, we are twins. Well, again, happy birthday to the Dealmans. I hope you guys have a great day. All right, let's go into this thing. Here we go. Oh, I know, these sideburns. Oh, it's terrible. I just want a haircut. I want a haircut. Wow, that is not centered at all. Look at this. Look at the racism. All right, here we go. All right, so Superior Court, State of California, County of LA. First amended complaint for defamation and false light. This is William James Mitchell versus Twin Galaxies LLC. Now let's start with this, I think. We're going to pull up the Apollo Legend video. Let me bigify this. What is happening? Here's the Apollo Legend video. Oh my goodness, can I get this in frame? This will kind of lay out what one of the defendants. Now, this suit is against Twin Galaxies, but this is all related to the same thing. This is Apollo Legend's take on it. I hear tipsters involved in this as well. So maybe Tipster wants to talk about this. I don't know. That's up to him. Anybody involved in this who wants to talk about it on the show is welcome to talk to me. Like I said, I don't have any particular vested interest in who's right and wrong. And so I'm happy to just kind of be an ear and a sounding board. All right, let's check this out. You guys ready? Silverwolf0080 says, I can see where you are going with this, but if you bring PPP back on the show, I will ship you a barrel of military special. I'll also ensure your children have access to a large box of pixie sticks and vuvuzelas. No, I don't see any reason. Well, I say people should be, watch it if you want. My channel is not a drama channel generally. It could be a legal drama channel, absolutely. But it's not like just a general drama channel. And there are people who are much better at following this thing than I am. I don't even have the Kiwi Farms thread is growing like 10 pages a minute. So I don't have time to follow any of that and all the streams involved and all of the lore. It's too much for me. I'm saying there are better people to cover that, and watching it here probably is not going to happen. So, and I don't have much intention to bring PPP on. I don't think he has much to say to me specifically. So maybe I'm wrong, but let's do this. Here we go.
Out. Did you hear what I said? You know who I'm looking at. You got my eyes? Blue, black, out. Out.
Yeah.
It would be you. Out. Just go. Say nothing.
Okay, so Apollo has clearly edited.
He really did it. Billy Mitchell filed a $1 million lawsuit against me. It's like he's not capable of accepting defeat even when he's obviously wrong. Billy set some Donkey Kong records like 10 years ago, and it turned out he cheated to get some of these scores. I made...
So, there you go. There's the first allegation. He cheated to get some of the scores. Let's...
Donkey Kong records like 10 years ago, and it turned out...
So here we go. He's got... I don't know if this is some sort of gotcha or proof that they're going for. So here's the arcade version. Here's the Billy's version, and here's MAME, which is an emulator, I believe. So I think the allegation was that Billy did not do the he didn't do the Donkey Kong world record on an actual certified arcade machine. He did it on some sort of emulator device. Now, it may have been in an arcade box, because there are the counterpoint to this, and this isn't really that important. Like, whether or not he cheated isn't super important. I mean, it's important to the lawsuit ultimately because it goes to the truthfulness, kind of. But there are plenty of people, as we'll get to in Twin Galaxies case, that said, no, we watched him do it on an arcade box that was certified. So there's information back and forth here. I don't know. I didn't follow this close enough. All I heard was, oh man, guy cheated who did it. That sucks. And I just chalked it away. So who? Yeah.
He cheated to get some of these scores. I made a video covering this case, and now 2 years later, he has filed a $1 million lawsuit against me for defamation. I can't get into the specifics right now, but I will say I fully reject Billy's claim that I have defamed him. In no way have I defamed Billy Mitchell. Every statement I have made about him has been based on evidence, and so I will fight this lawsuit in every way possible. He's using...
Okay, so first thing... credit to Apollo. So Apollo's making head and categorically denied everything. Are we getting bitrate issues already? That's annoying. Sorry for getting bitrate issues. It's back. It's back. It's back. Just a second. Here, I'll keep the bitrate monitor up so I can see if that happens again. All right. Okay. But, you know, it's just, I believe it's just the strain of YouTube having so many people watching YouTube lately. Their system is just, it struggles at times. Anyway, that being said, Apollo has made some statements here, and they're good statements. He's categorically denying the defamation, saying everything he said about him was true. It's based on evidence. He's reinforcing his belief that this is true. And that's important because Billy Mitchell is set up as a public figure. And I'm guessing we're going to see that borne out in the complaints as well. But he set himself up as a public figure. And he also addressed these things very publicly, and that will be likely used in a limited purpose public figure argument, even if he's not a general purpose public figure. And I don't know how the guy who happens to hold the Donkey Kong world record would be a general purpose public figure. But I think public figure doctrine right now is just in such a state of flux because the internet wasn't around when New York Times versus Sullivan was decided. And so, you know, everything is... what's a public figure? Is it someone with 100,000 followers? Is it someone with 500,000 followers? 1 million? What point do you become a public figure? It's a whole new way to do it. I mean, there are Instagram thoughts with millions of followers I've never heard of, but they may be general purpose public figures. But anyway, so of course, along with that is going to come knowledge of the falsity or reckless disregard for the truth as elements of the defamation claim. They're going to have problems with those elements because, well, they may not have problems. Depends on what evidence they can come up with. But they might have problems with those elements because, as Apollo is alleging here, everything he's saying is based on evidence and he believes the truth of it outright.
His typical bully tactics to silence criticism just like he always has. I will not give him a single penny. I will not delete a single video because I have not defamed Billy Mitchell. Sue me, take me to court, I don't care. Billy has also filed suit against Twin Galaxies and the owner of DonkeyKongForum.com and Jeremy Young, who created this post, which was the beginning of the end for Billy's records. Those last two are being sued jointly, so that's 3 lawsuits for a total of $13 million. It's a big number.
In addition, this is in addition to the California lawsuit, which, like I said, has been going on since last year against Twin Galaxies. Now, I don't know why he decided to sue them in Broward County after suing them in California. I don't know if that's because they anticipate losing the California suit or if they just wanted to preserve the matter. They can always drop the suit at a later date. I'm not really sure what the plan is there, but if you have a duplicated suit in another jurisdiction, if it's based on the same fact set, they're going to have a real problem. And I'm not sure how he could argue that the Twin Galaxies suit in Florida is based on a different set of facts unique to Florida rather than the one in California. So that's going to be an interesting question. And that suit may be at risk of getting dismissed outright if he doesn't collapse it on his own, because they've already got a suit going on with presumably the same set of facts. It kind of looks like a forum shop.
Number attached to a claim that has no weight at all. I believe Billy is using this as an intimidation tactic to scare us into retracting our statements. I'm not falling for it. Not only do I believe these lawsuits are fraudulent, I believe Billy is in fact guilty of defaming numerous people, including Dwayne Richard, Wes Copeland, Jeremy Young, Robert Murchek, Catherine DeSpira, myself, and others. It's time.
Okay, so this is where he transitions from talking about the suits against him a little bit, I think, into the countersuit that he's talking about filing, and presumably the people who've been named, at least some of them are involved in that countersuit. So we'll talk about that as we go too.
Time to stop Billy once and for all. Not only will I beat his baseless lawsuit, but I plan to simultaneously pursue a collective defamation case against Billy for all the lies that he spread. Let me explain how we do this. One of the requirements to win in a defamation case is that you need to prove damages. Billy still has many connections within the game.
Okay, so what he says here is a little bit, it's fuzzy on the damages. Well, let's listen to what he says and then I'll talk about it a little more.
Gaming world, and his statements can be viewed worldwide. If he were to lie about someone, that could certainly affect their future employment opportunities. It might deter sponsors, and it does damage their reputation. Legally.
Okay. Here's a little bit of the problem with the damages argument, and this is one of the reasons the countersuit could cause trouble. Notice what Apollo said here, and this is why they'll have to. It all depends on what's on the paper, of course, right? It all depends on what's on the filing. For now, though, he said those statements could cause damage to someone. They could hurt their reputation. It could cost them a job. Well, yeah. It could, but did it? Damages are not damages that might occur unless we're talking about defamation per se, right? Saying that someone has commit some sort of crime, has some sort of loathsome disease, or has committed some sort of sexual impropriety. Those types of things are per se defamatory. Those presumed damages for the purposes of whether or not the claim is valid. However, those presumed damages don't necessarily mete out. You have to prove up some sort of damages at trial still to collect the damages. Now, if you're only going for damaged reputation, presuming a damaged reputation by saying someone molested a child or something, sure, that can be so loathsome that the damages are presumed and the damage to reputation is presumed. Excuse me. Goodness. Sure, that could occur. This is, these guys lied about me lying about something else. It's hard to say that that's going to fall into the category of per se defamation. It might. Probably not. It really depends on what statements he comes out with. So I want to caution Apollo on his approach to damages here. If none of these people can show that they were actually damaged, they're going to have some issues. They're going to need to compile evidence of people saying, I don't trust these guys because they lied about Billy Mitchell or something. Oh, that Apollo Legends guy, he's the guy who lied about the Donkey Kong guy, or he's a known liar. Those types of things are going to have to show the reputational damage. Someone just saying that you lied about him is not per se defamatory, and it's unless you can show the result in either lost income or lost reputation, you're going to have to show that, and it's going to have to be convincing enough to the court that that reputation loss could translate to something the court can actually remedy. So they've got a problem right away with damages on their countersuit.
Speaking, that would be defamation. I believe Billy has lied about so many people with such disregard for their...
By the way, mods, will you stop, for the love of Christ, stop banning people unless they're spamming. Don't time them out unless they're spamming. Please. It's a simple rule. Anyway.
Well-being, that we stand a very good chance of winning this case. Again, from a legal perspective, it's better.
I immediately don't think they stand a very good chance of winning this case, but I'm willing to be persuaded by the documents. If there's doxing, yeah, ban them for doxing all day. Don't, YouTube has a no tolerance policy on that stuff. But unless they're spamming or doxing, what a waste of time.
Best that I don't get into specifics right now, but thankfully there are so many examples to point to, I can give you just one so you can see what I'm talking about. The short version is, Billy directly accused Dwayne Richard of editing Billy's Pac-Man tape, and I can prove that no such thing happened.
That same name is the same name that edited the 2 Pac-Man scores, okay, that show up in the YouTube movie.
This is a serious...
Now, I don't like how Apollo does this, because he's about to go into the context of this quote, but there's a quote immediately preceding this quote, which kind of links them together, and it's really confusing now, because what did that say? This name is the same name that edited those things. I don't know who that is, but part of defamation is identifiability of the defamed party. So if people know who he's talking about, then sure, it could be that defamation could have occurred if people can identify the person he's talking about. So we'll go on.
Serious claim, not one that should be thrown around lightly. This clip comes from an interview that Billy gave at the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in 2018. During this section, Billy speaks about the tapes of his debunked scores.
And the person who's a caretaker of one of those libraries said, yes, they were here.
Libraries, Billy, not libraries.
And yes, when my brother was here, yes, they came here and they took a Donkey Kong tapes, Perfect Pac-Man tape, which has been missing for more than 8 years, about 10 years now. They took my friend's Perfect Pac-Man tape. Both of those tapes showed up in a movie, an internet movie. Both of them were edited.
Billy talks about someone who sent him an email which was sent to him by another guy who supposedly wanted to frame Billy for cheating.
A particular guy sent me the email that a naysayer sent to him. Please have your Asian technician call me. I need his help.
Your Asian technician? What? What did I miss there? Please have your Asian technician call me. That's from the email, I guess. That's a weird email. I hope I get an email that says, please have your Asian technician call me. Yeah, his mic is bad, but it's a live mic that's set up for a venue that's being recorded, and that it just, unless it's set up right, it doesn't sound good.
To create a Donkey Kong score.
The person that Billy is talking about is Dwayne Richard. We know this because we can find the exact email amongst some of Billy's so-called evidence. And
now this is an interesting thing. If we know who Billy's talking about because of evidence that he brought at the suit, Billy's got a counter argument immediately against their countersuit. And he says, look, no one knows who Dwayne Richard is from the context of my statements. They may learn about them now that the lawsuit is public, but when I made those statements, no one could identify this guy. That's potentially one of the problems. Was this an identifiable person? Or did we need subsequently released emails to find out who he was?
And the name on the email is Dwayne Richard. So as I was editing this video, I wanted to ask Dwayne what the context was for this email. Dwayne told me this email is completely forged, and he wants to subpoena Google, Hotmail, whoever it takes, so we can prove this email is forged. Whether this is fake or not, we don't yet know for sure, but it doesn't matter either way because it's obvious from Billy's statement that he was talking about this email in his evidence package, and the name on this email in his evidence package is Dwayne Richard. Also, Dwayne Richard is the creator of the YouTube movies that Billy references. I'm telling you all this so it's crystal clear Billy is talking about Dwayne.
I wish he would have set this up before he brought up Billy's statements. But
following Billy's statement about the email, he says this.
That same name is the same name that edited the 2 Pac-Man scores, okay, that It'd show up in a YouTube movie.
So don't tell me you weren't talking about Dwayne. Don't tell me you weren't talking about your tapes. You directly accused Dwayne of tampering with your tape. I hope you're ready to back that up in a court of law.
Again, if you're going to make him back it up in a court of law, and you have to show this long explanation of how the chain of events came up with this this forged email, allegedly forged email that no one else saw until Billy released them, you're already fighting an uphill battle.
Claim is beyond absurd. Let's look at the YouTube movie that Billy referenced. This is Billy Mitchell's Perfect Pac-Man.
I don't know if I want to watch this. Here's the long and short of it. So they say it's edited, and here's the total footage that they have from this. So I'll summarize. They've got the total footage from the documentary.
Trying to make himself look better than he actually is.
With all the records I've set the world record on Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., the Pac-Man world record, Pac-Man, Centipede, Burger Time. This is by far the most intense because it's non-stop. For some reason, the adrenaline is just higher, and I wouldn't have expected it. Maybe because it's the quest for perfection.
Oh my god! Watching Pac-Man is really boring. And remember, it was like 6 hours of this.
Not just a record. It's the quest for
I mean, Homeboy's good at Pac-Man.
one that would never be broken.
So obviously,
Okay, I'm gonna skip this guy. Again, that's the entirety. According to this video, that's the entirety of the clip. Now, Billy said that footage appeared in the documentary edited. And one of the hard things I guess the problem with that is when you look at that wasn't edited or altered footage. That was just a segment of the footage, right? But it didn't look like anybody clipped anything out. There were no unusual breaks in the footage. There was nothing to indicate that was an edited version of the segment that they used. So anyway, that's a good pause face. Let's
is and
That was ass. He has nothing to back it up. Dwayne clicks.
okay, here.
often about how great he is, and
That's the whole clip. Which part did Dwayne edit? The text? Billy just pulled this accusation out of his ass. He has nothing to back it up. Dwayne clearly did not edit that video. And even worse for Billy, Twin Galaxies still has this Pac-Man tape. The owner, Jace, was kind enough to inform me that the tape showed no physical signs of tampering, and I'm guessing Jace would be willing to let us match the gameplay to verify that Dwayne has not edited anything. So which part did he edit, Billy? Oh, I think you'll have a hard time defending that one in court. Again,
I don't think he will, though, because ultimately that footage is edited. It's not the full 6-hour tape, right? It's just a segment. And that may not be what he meant, but they're going to have to prove that he meant something other than what he said. Like, not to get lawyerly semantic on it, but he did say that it was edited. And technically, an edit would be to cut it from 6 hours to 45 seconds, right?
Again, I can't get into specifics, but this is just one tiny snapshot of our entire case. We are bringing together the largest group of people we can.
Okay, now listen to what he's saying here. This is important because there's a claim in this video that I don't believe at all. It says they're bringing together the largest group of people they can, including...
Individually, we might not be able to defend ourselves, but by joining all together with one goal, we can finally put a stop to all this pain this man has caused. Now, I really hate to do this at a time when so many people are struggling to pay their rent, but I have enough problems dealing with my own defense as it is. I just don't have the money to fund this action. I have an attorney who's willing and ready to file the suit against Billy as soon as I'm able to pay him. He says the case will cost $10,000 at most.
I hope you understand what I'm going to say. I hope you understand what I'm going to say. He says the case will cost $10,000 at most. This is a multi-plaintiff defamation action. And if you remember, one of the plaintiffs, Dwayne, has said that what he wants to do is subpoena everybody involved to find out who created the false email, including Google and Hotmail and all those people, right? Now, maybe the lawyer is only going to charge 10 grand. This suit will cost way more than 10 grand. I know a Florida attorney, getting a defamation suit off the ground in Florida with an attorney, $10 is going to pay you to get in the door. This is going to cost a lot more than 10K. And so, to Apollo Legend, man, make sure you know what you're getting into. This is a ton of money. This is going to cost more than 10 grand based on what you've shown so far. Unless the idea is to get him to settle out.
He wants a full down payment, and then he draws from that according to his work. I know it's a lot of money. I'm sorry to ask this of you guys, but there's just no other way.
What maybe the lawyer didn't explain carefully is once that 10 grand is exhausted, he will then require payments for the rest.
This will get done. Our biggest problem right now is that we need to get this done urgently. That Southern Fried Gaming Expo where...
Okay, so now they go in to talk about how it was 2 years ago. It was a year ago. No, 2 years ago, and they need to file things right away. I'm going to skip to the last bit here. Look, if you guys are interested in supporting the GoFundMe, it's gofundme.com/stopbillymitchell. I'm not endorsing the GoFundMe, but it is up on the stream, so you can see it there. I know a lot of people have determined that Billy Mitchell is a cheater, and he may be. I don't know or really particularly care. If he is a cheater, that's really lame. If he's not a cheater, that sucks for him. But here is the GoFundMe for this. I'm not aware of any GoFundMes for Billy, so I'm not gonna, I can't promote his either. But just because it's being mentioned on the show doesn't mean that I'm particularly endorsing it.
You updated on the matter. Take care.
I'm here against the very, very strong legal advice. I was told not to do this, and I said, too bad, I'm doing it. I ask that you don't record anything.
Yeah, that's, well, that's a problem, I suppose. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of a funny thing, but here's the deal. That's a funny moment, right? Like, look, that was clearly edited, by the way. If you notice, there's a jump cut between him saying that and saying, I ask that you don't record. But it's funny. But here's the thing. And this is where lawyers are different than media people. For media people, it may be better to fight the thing in public. It very well may be. It may be better to go out and get ahead of it and to have that fight publicly. That could be part of an overall strategy. Lawyers are risk averse, and the long time theory is that no, you shouldn't comment on ongoing legal matters, but for some people it might be worth it. For some people, engaging a fan base and utilizing a platform may be beneficial for them to go ahead and make some public statements. Will it help them legally? Probably not. Will it hurt them legally? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, as long as he doesn't say anything that undermines his claims, the only argument it lends to is he a limited purpose public figure? Well, if you're already conceding the public figure argument, you're going to say, well, this guy's a public figure. Well, then utilizing your platform is actually part of why public figure doctrine exists, is the fact that they can utilize a platform to go ahead and engage people and swing public perception already. Now, if you take a two-pronged approach, and this is something I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of over the next decade as lawyers come around to the idea that Twitter and technology actually does exist and not everything is done on handwritten legal pads anymore. as they start doing that, you're going to see them advising people, no, go online, rally support, rally funding, get people on your side, argue this thing out. And I think what we're going to see is lawsuits transition from being the sole remedy to being part of a comprehensive remedy strategy. One of those is dealing with public perception, and the other one is dealing with legal fallout. And you can lose one and win the other. You can lose both. You can win both. But if it's part of an overall strategy, you know, you may get better results from the social aspect than the legal aspect. And the legal aspect can then be a cost of doing business on the social aspect. If the benefits of one outweigh the other, it may be worth waging the fight on both fronts. So is that the case here? I don't know. I don't know what platforms Billy Mitchell has. He's got about 6,000 Twitter followers, and his account's privated, but he may have access to other avenues because he does have the score. Like there, he was clearly speaking at some video game convention or something like that. So pretty interesting stuff. That's it. They hit their funding goal in like 6 hours. I haven't checked on the Gofundme. Let's see where they're at now. Oh, was it Stop Billy Mitchell? Yeah, they're at $27,217 right now. So they've gone way over their funding goal. And I'm not going to play the next video. It's only 2 minutes long. But basically, what Apollo Legend says is they broke their funding goal. Now they're looking at a different lawyer rather than the first lawyer, just to make sure they've got a specialist or something who's gonna take care of it. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing there. We wouldn't know unless we knew who the first lawyer was and then who the second lawyer was, if there is a second lawyer. But I can tell you, a $10,000 claim, it's not going to get you very far in a defamation case like this. It's really not. And unless the lawyer's going to do it on contingency. But here's how contingency works. So if you're not aware, contingency is an arrangement between the lawyer and the client, and that contingency is, if I win, I get paid X amount of dollars of whatever we recover from the person. So, and the way that tends to work is the lawyer gets paid first. So let's say you win $100,000 and the lawyer's contingent rate is 30%. So that means the lawyer is entitled to 30% of the $100,000. And unless you're getting a $100,000 payment up front, you're going to get payments over time. Typically, what's going to happen is the lawyer is going to be entitled to the first 30% of whatever you collect. So you don't start collecting until they get paid. And that makes sense. They've already done the work. They front most of the costs. And you can do, in some states, you can do a contingent fee with a retainer fee. So like, look, I'm going to need 10 grand to get the suit off, 10 grand to get the suit off the ground. And then once we get into it, I'll collect a contingency on anything we make less the $10,000 retainer you paid me up front. If we lose, you're just out the $10,000. Maybe that's what his lawyer was doing. But when I look at this case so far, and again, I don't have the documents, I don't have the allegations from Apollo other than what's in that video. When I look at that, I think no lawyer on earth is going to devote firm time and resources into that case based on what I've seen. Because you're talking $40,000, $50,000 minimum if you go to trial. So if you're going to go to trial on this thing, I mean, remember, Sargon got off cheap in his copyright claim, and all he did was file a motion to dismiss, and it was $35,000. You're talking about taking a defamation case against a high-profile figure who's filing 4 other suits. I think it's going to be more than 10 grand. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. No lawyer wants to get paid? No lawyer. No. I'm saying they're not going to devote on a contingent basis their firm time and resources to a case that I don't think has a likelihood of success based on what I've seen. So, because it's a gamble at this point. The lawyers are only going to get paid if they win and recover. So they have to win against Billy Mitchell. They have to recover a significant amount of damages, and they're going to get a percentage of that if those two things happen. 10 grand. If your attorney's $500 an hour, which is not outlandish, that's just 20 hours of work. That's half a week. That's one hearing. The complaint itself is going to cost $2,000 to $5,000 of that. So I have to temper people's expectations. Lawsuits are absurdly expensive. So, who knows? Who knows? But okay, let's go through this case. There's a couple chats that we're going to go through. And here we go. Freighter J says, Billy is good at the game. He simply lied about the hardware because he didn't want to be listed on the MAME category and wanted to be listed in the main game score chart. Not a cheater, but a liar, and mad he was caught. So there you go. That's that. Hail to the break says, thanks for covering this. Hey, no problem. Chris Kennedy says, hey, Nick, have you heard about the Washington State police officer Greg Anderson, who was recently fired for a video he posted about criticizing law enforcement practices during the COVID-19 outbreak? He has a GoFundMe page. I've heard about him. Whoops. That was my stupid Steam. I've heard about him, but I haven't actually seen his video yet, but I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he'd like to talk. That'd be very interesting. Goober Gabbard says, dad of a friend got falsely accused by the dad's girlfriend. My friend has to go to court as a witness tomorrow. Typical alcoholic girlfriend accuses boyfriend of doing thing that she does. Jazz, I'm worried for the dad. You should be. You should absolutely be worried. False accusations are nasty, nasty business. Steam doxed. No! Oh my goodness. Steam! Okay. Let's take a look at the documents here. So this is the suit. This was originally filed on April 11th of 2019. And then this is the amended complaint, which was filed on March 12th, 2020. All right, so the first amended complaint, this is Billy Mitchell just suing Twin Galaxies. So this is not Apollo Legends case. That is the case in Florida. And again, I'm treating it as a placeholder right now, simply because Billy told me that that he intends to hire counsel. And I assume when he does hire counsel down in Florida, they will be amending that complaint. But I'm guessing we're going to see a similar sort of allegation strategy here. So Billy Mitchell is an individual residing in Florida, recognized worldwide for his records in a number of video games, including Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and others. Mitchell rose to national prominence in the 1980s when Life magazine included him in a photo spread of game champions. During the golden age of arcade video gaming in the 1980s. I would argue that's in the 90s, but that's me. Mitchell became the nascent sport's most recognizable figure. After a hiatus, Mitchell returned to the gaming in the late 90s. On July 3rd, 1999, Mitchell achieved the first perfect score of 3,333,360 points on the original Pac-Man. As a result, Pac-Man's manufacturer Namco brought Mitchell to Japan for the Tokyo Game Show and named him the video game player of the century. All 100 years. In the 2000s, Mitchell achieved record-breaking 1 million plus scores on Donkey Kong, including performances of 1,047,200, the King of Kong tape, and 1,050,200, the Mortgage Broker score. This is great. This is the first lawsuit involving technology that I've ever seen where the judge might actually understand what's going on. On June 21st, 2006, based on these and other scores, MTV selected Mitchell of one of the 10 most influential video gamers of all time. In 2006, David Ramsey, writing for the Oxford American, described Mitchell as probably the greatest arcade video game player of all time. They're getting a little bit out there, in my opinion. A little. Can he beat Operation Wolf on one quarter? If he can't beat Operation Wolf on one quarter, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it at all. Mitchell has appeared in several documentaries on competitive gaming. Now, notice what he's doing here. He is just flat out saying, I am the most famous video gamer that ever existed. Like, listen to this. He's making the public figure argument for them all over the place. And that's an interesting strategy. Like, shouldn't it just be, my client is Billy. He's a guy who won at some video games. Some people covered it back when it was important. And right now, nobody really talks about it that much anymore. You've probably never heard his name. But he's a guy who played some video games. And now that he's trying to go on with his regular life, people are interfering with that by calling him a fraud and really messing with him. I don't know, but he's got a lot of, he's going in hard. Chasing Ghosts Beyond the Arcade. The King of Arcades. Man vs. Snake. The Long and Twisted Tale of Nibbler. That sounds like a Shane Diesel film. That's a porn title if I've ever heard one. And The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. In addition to his video game activity, Mitchell is the owner of Ricky's Hot Sauce. He painstakingly built the company into a highly successful business, in part by trading on his fame as a video game record holder. Defendant Twin Galaxies LLC is a Florida business entity with its headquarters at 335 North Maple Drive, Suite 380, Beverly Hills, California. It's an organization and social media platform that facilitates interaction, achievement, recognition, and competition amongst those involved in the culture and activity of video games. Now, this is a really interesting question. This is a really interesting... Why pick California as the jurisdiction here? California has a strong anti-SLAPP. It's plaintiff unfriendly. Billy said he's a resident of Florida and the Twin Galaxies is a Florida business entity. Why not just do this in Florida? I don't understand. Now, they're headquartered in California, so California is going to have jurisdiction over Twin Galaxies. That's not a problem. But filing suit in California has got to be monumentally expensive for Billy, needlessly so. He's going to have to fly to California to do any hearings, probably to do any depositions. It's going to be a waste of time and money when he could have just initially filed suit in Florida. And remember, he does ultimately file suit in Florida, which is probably a more plaintiff-friendly state in defamation claims. I don't know that for sure, but California is defendant-friendly in defamation. So this is a strange choice. I don't understand it at all. Predecessor of Twin Galaxies Incorporated was founded in 1981 by Walter Day. Day is widely considered the godfather of video game scorekeeping. Recognizing the inspiration from Mr. Litwack, the beloved arcade owners in Disney's Wreck-It Ralph animated film about video gaming. In the early 1980s, Day began recording high scores that he found on games and arcades that he visited, and that same year opened his own arcade in Ottumwa, Iowa, naming it Twin Galaxies. In 82, Day's database of records was released publicly as the Twin Galaxies National Scoreboard. Twin Galaxies suddenly became known as the official video game scoreboard, arranging contests between top players and attracting international media attention for publicizing video game stars. In the early 80s, Twin Galaxies' status under Day's stewardship as the official scorekeeper was further enhanced by support from major video game publications, which published full-page high-score charts taken from Twin Galaxies' data. In 1983, based on his reputation, Day became the official supplier of verified video game scores to Guinness World Records, the first time that Guinness World Records has ever recognized video games as a valid category. Beginning in 1984, the U.S. edition of Guinness World Records included video game scores certified by Twin Galaxy, with Dave functioning as an assistant editor for the Guinness book in charge of video game scores. In 98, Twin Galaxy's official video game and pinball book of world records was published, a 984-page book containing scores compiled since 1981. In 2008, Dave's longtime work as a video game adjudicator and esports pioneer inspired the creation of the Guinness World Records Gamers Edition, which just calls everyone an N-word. That's what that is. Only gamer words. In 2012, Dave stepped down from Twin Galaxies and subsequently sold it to Jace Hall in 2014, who announced himself as the new owner. Defendants, does 1 through 50, are unknown to plaintiffs. So this is something you do in California. You name a list of John and Jane Does, because there may be other people involved that you need to name later as you get through discovery. And it's just you leaving space to amend the complaint and ask to add them at a later date. That's just part of how California does it. Plaintiffs are informed and believed, based thereon, alleged at all times mentioned here, defendants were agents, principals, partners. So again, it's saying that these people are associated with Twin Galaxies. We don't necessarily know who the CFO of Twin Galaxies is, the editor, all of these things. So what they don't want to do is start naming people that are like off a Wikipedia page in that position who may not hold the position and then have to cost more money. So you name them as John, Jane Does. Then on discovery, when you find out the organizational structure from the organization, you can name the relevant officers in the suit based on their involvement. So anyway, venue and jurisdiction. This court has jurisdiction over the subject matter pursuant to Article 6, Section 10 in the California Constitution because the case is not given by statute to other trial courts. The amount in controversy exceeds the minimum. Venue is proper because defendant's business headquarters are located in LA, and defamatory statements giving rise to his actions were made in LA. Again, he could have brought this suit. He could have brought this suit in Florida, I believe, because he could have alleged that the damage from the statements is done in Florida where he resides. But I don't know. Maybe he has a different reason. Maybe he has a different reason. Defamatory statements. All right, into the meat of this. We're going to see what Billy is alleging is defamatory. Prior to 2018, Twin Galaxies had recognized Mitchell as the holder of several records on classic games. Under the new ownership of Jace Hall, however, and in an effort to generate publicity for Twin Galaxies, that abruptly changed. On April 12, 2018, Twin Galaxies made a defamatory statement concerning Billy Mitchell's records and legacy, claiming that he cheated to achieve his Donkey Kong scores by not using original unmodified hardware. Twin Galaxy's statement of that date claimed, in relevant part and with emphasis in the original, is as follows. Twin Galaxy's administrative staff has unanimously decided to remove all of Billy Mitchell's scores, as well as ban him from participating in our competitive leaderboards. There's a break here. Mitchell's taped Donkey Kong score performances of 1,047,200, 1,050,200 that were historically used by Twin Galaxies to substantiate those scores and place them in the database were not produced by the direct feed output of an original unmodified Donkey Kong arcade PCB. From a Twin Galaxies viewpoint, and this is a problem for Billy Mitchell right there. The only important thing to know is whether or not the score performances are from an unmodified original DK arcade PCB as per the competitive rules. We now believe this is also a problem, that they are not from an original unmodified DK arcade PCB, and so our investigation of the tape content ends with that conclusion and assertion. With this ruling, Twin Galaxies can no longer recognize Billy Mitchell as the first million-point Donkey Kong record holder. So what's interesting is they're not saying that he particularly cheated, right? They're saying that based on the information that they have, from their viewpoint, it doesn't look like it was from an authorized board. The statement is libelous in its face, on its face. It asserts that Mitchell did not achieve his record scores legitimately, i.e. through the competitive rules applicable to all players. This is danger zone territory. Because it doesn't say that. You have to infer that it was illegitimate in violation of the rules. What they're saying is they do mention the rules, but they're not saying he did anything wrong to achieve the score. They're just saying that they couldn't verify it. Instead, it asserts that Mitchell achieved his record scores only by impermissibly and secretly shortcutting those rules. This is an implication. And implications can be defamatory, right? But what you have to do is show that people believed the implication. You have to show some record that that's what they believe, and he could probably do that. Lots of people, even in this chat, have called him a cheater, right? And a fraud and all of that stuff. I've seen it all over the internet. And so he may be able to produce that, but if he doesn't produce that in his complaint and in any supporting documents, he's going to have problems with this claim, because right now it's merely a lie by implication, and that implication is a little convoluted. You have to explain this to the judge, who's going to be like, huh? What's a PCB? The implication that Mitchell's scores were dishonestly achieved, and again, that's not clear from the text provided, in my opinion. I don't think that they're mentioning dishonesty. They're simply saying that they don't have a verified DK arcade box. And is supported by the fact that Twin Galaxies imposed heavy sanctions on Mitchell, not only stripping him of his score records, but also in other arcades such as Pac-Man. Now, see, that's lame, in my opinion. I mean, if the Pac-Man scores are verified, he should keep his Pac-Man scores. But that's not defamatory. That's just their editorial choice. And banning him from ever submitting scores in the future to Twin Galaxies, which again, I don't think that stripping his Donkey Kong records or banning him from further participation is particularly a problem. I think that banning him rescinding his Pac-Man scores is lame. I think that's lame, but I don't think that's a lawsuit problem. Such a punishment, according to Twin Galaxy's own rulebook, is warranted for, among other things, deliberate cheating or misrepresentation of any kind. And then he's got the Twin Galaxies thing. So that's what they're gonna try and do, is wrap in, this is, because their rulebook says that this is the thing, that's how everybody's gonna take it. I still think they're gonna need to put up some support for that. That the statement expressly accused Mitchell of cheating is further evidenced by the news commentary that followed. Now, wait a minute. That's not expressly accusing him of cheating, because the word cheat isn't in here. And again, I'm being semantic, but this is a lawsuit. This is a lawsuit. You can't say they expressly accused you of cheating if there's no reference to cheating in the actual statement. That's the whole point of it being express. This is an implied accusation of cheating that the statement expressly. So what they should say is impliedly accuse Mitchell of cheating is further evidenced by the news commentary that followed, because that's the accusation. It's a lie by implication, not a lie by expression. Variety, for instance, pulled no punches in describing Twin Galaxies' decision as follows, with emphasis added. Famed high-score gamer Billy Mitchell, best known for his role in the King of Kong: A Fistful of Quarters documentary, was officially stripped of his Donkey Kong and other video game high scores and banned from submitting scores to the world's largest tracker of video game world records following a decision that he cheated, Twin Galaxies announced today. Making this impliedly versus expressly actually is a better argument, in my opinion, because right now they can say, nowhere did we say he cheated. Other people inferred he cheated, and he alleges that we expressly stated cheating without providing any evidence that we expressly did so. So that's a mess. That's a mess. In short, the statement accused a professional video game player of not achieving his records through fair means, removing his undisputed records from the other games from the scoreboard and banning him for life. And I mean, we've got right here the answer and the motion to strike. I've got them both. They're going to go, I assume they're going to go to town on these allegations. But in fact, the April 12, 2008 statement was made with knowledge of its falsity or with reckless disregard for its truth. Again, he's got a real problem. So the higher bar, knowledge of the falsity and reckless disregard for the truth, is going to come in here. You have to assert that they lied by implication. It's a tough call on this. Their statements do infer that he cheated and it was taken this way, and they should probably have issued a clarification saying, look, we're not, and maybe they did, I don't know. Maybe they issued a clarifying statement and said, we did not say he cheated or that his skill is somehow less on what he did. All we're saying is we couldn't verify the PCB being unmodified Donkey Kong PCB. That's it. That's all we got. We can't verify that. And so therefore we can't give them the scores. If they would have done that, and maybe they did, I don't know, that should alleviate this problem. But some people clearly took this way. Oh my goodness. All right. The most cursory, unbiased investigation would have revealed beyond doubt that the record-breaking Donkey Kong scores were not played on emulation software in private places, but were actually played on certified arcade boards in front of hundreds of people. To date, more than 25 of these witnesses have signed sworn affidavits testifying to their observation of Mitchell achieving his scores on arcade software. Now, again, did those witnesses know that the arcade boards were certified, and were they certified by Twin Galaxy? If that's the case, then Twin Galaxy lied. If they certified the boards as unmodified, then they lied. We're going to have to find some evidence of that. Someone in the chat earlier said, someone in the chat earlier said that they waived the verification process for Billy. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the truth is. First class, I agree it's not grounds to strip him of his other records, but it's also not defamatory. Stripping him of his other records isn't defamatory. It's an editorial decision that reflects on the publication more than it reflects on Billy. If they didn't say he actually cheated, I mean, I get it. And again, I think he lied by, they lied by implication, assuming all the facts are true. I think that's realistic. Saying they expressly accused him of cheating is just not accurate. And that's important in this, because these get very, very fact intensive and technical very quickly. Okay. But the investigation was not unbiased. It was preordained. During its investigation into Mitchell's scores, Twin Galaxies, under its new ownership, did not act as an impartial arbiter, but rather as a biased observer intent on generating publicity and internet clicks by accusing Mitchell, the most visible of all video gamers, of cheating. Twin Galaxies performed a deliberately one-sided, biased investigation with the sole goal of convicting Mitchell through its 1. Failing to contact key witnesses, 2. Intentional disregarding evidence in favor of Mitchell, 3. Deliberately burying evidence in favor of Mitchell, 4. Selecting an openly biased third-party investigator, 5. Refusing to provide equal evidentiary access to Mitchell, and 6. Failing to fact-check information, and 7. Failing to retract its defamatory statements. That's a long list. Let's see where he goes with it. I thought this was Bill Buy the Dip Mitchell. Who's that? Because this guy also owns Hot Sauce. Maybe it is him. In Twin Galaxy's investigation, new owner Jace Hall advised Mitchell that only scientific evidence would be considered, rejecting all witness testimony out of hand, no matter how credible. Now, to be fair to Twin Galaxies here, if you're verifying the authenticity of the board, someone saying, I watched him play it on an arcade box, isn't that important. I can shove a Nintendo inside of an arcade cabinet and run to a, run the screen into the Nintendo's, optical port. I can do that. And an outside observer may not know the difference. Like, that wouldn't be very helpful. Now, so it depends on if they saw the other stuff. We'll see what they say. No matter how credible. Specifically, Hall stated to Mitchell, I don't care what anybody says. Even after Mitchell's retraction demand, which provided dozens of sworn witness affidavits, Hall ignored them. In any event, Hall's scientific evidence only no witnesses standard applied solely to testimony favoring Mitchell. Hall actively sought out and embraced any possible witness testimony against Mitchell, including that of former Twin Galaxies referee Robert Mruczek. It's probably Mruczek. On information and belief, Mitchell alleges that Mruczek retains high levels of animosity towards Mitchell and Walter Day due to Day's having banned him from the Twin Galaxies community for his unruly conduct. That doesn't explain why he's got animosity towards Mitchell. That explains why he's got animosity towards Walter Day and would presumably have animosity towards Twin Galaxy. So that's weird. Hall's refusal to consider eyewitness testimony was especially egregious when it came to Day, Twin Galaxy's legendary former owner, because it strongly favored Mitchell, as Day has stated in a sworn declaration. During the Twin Galaxies investigation, I had one phone conversation with Jace Hall. In his phone call, Hall's biased and negative nature toward Billy Mitchell was very concerning. My statements based on my knowledge expressed in this letter were disregarded, and he moved forward with no regard for any information that didn't automatically paint Billy as guilty. Meanwhile, he apparently accepted witness testimony from former referees to help legitimize Billy's tape from the questionable source. I find it unexplainable that my testimony as founder and former owner is disregarded, while others, specifically the ones against Billy, are embraced. You may find it, and again, I'm not trying to dump on Billy here. I'm really not. I'm just pointing out that Hall has no obligation to accept every piece of evidence that Billy wants him to accept. Twin Galaxies can have its own editorial process, and you can hate every second of it. You can discredit them. You can call them liars and thieves and crooks who have biased opinions. But whether or not they defamed you is they're barking up a tough tree. Now what they're trying to do, now think of this from the judge's perspective, right? You're a judge. You're 60 years old. You've heard of Donkey Kong because you remember playing it as a Ute, okay? As a Ute, you played the Donkey Kong, and now you may have heard of Billy Mitchell, or you may have briefly heard of the Donkey Kong record being set. You may have heard of the Pac-Man one more, but you're like, okay, whatever. Now this comes before you, and you're going to go, so they lied. Well, what'd they lie about? He says they expressly accused him of cheating, but they don't actually say that. So the lie is by implication that he cheated, I guess. So where's the lie that he cheated? So they had to verify the boards. Okay, so when they did the investigation to verify the boards, they didn't listen to the people he wanted to listen to, and those people had concerns, but didn't say the boards were verified. What am I doing here? Right? You have to look at this from the judge's perspective, and you have to make it easy for the judge to go, okay, there's the lie. Here's the lie. How do I verify the lie? But now it's not just a lie, right? It's now a lie plus bad investigation plus conspiracy. That it starts to make it more complicated. And yes, believe me, I get it. This is a problem with Vic's case as well, right? You have to explain to the judge not only the lie, but you have to explain that the investigation was a problem, why it was a problem, and you have to explain the conspiracy element to all of it. Are we seeing the parallels? And we saw how Judge Chupp dealt with that. He didn't deal with that at all. A judge may not have the attention span or level of care to get into those details. And that's a challenge that you've got to overcome. We'll see what Billy does. Thus, Twin Galaxies relied on eyewitness statements from those against Mitchell, but refused to, and they haven't shown why that guy was against Mitchell. They haven't shown that at all. But refused to consider eyewitness statements from those who support Mitchell. In addition, despite his professed reliance on science, Twin Galaxies disregarded hardware certification from the highest engineering authority, the senior engineer at Nintendo. Nintendo's senior engineer, Wayne Shirk, had certified the board used in the mortgage broker's score as original Nintendo arcade hardware. But Twin Galaxies dismissed that fact as irrelevant with Hall, saying that he didn't care about the certification. This is interesting. This fact is a problem for Twin Galaxies, right? This is a problem, if true. I don't know if it's true. It's a problem on the initial. Now you're playing with power. Got my power glove. Doesn't even work that way. This is a problem with the initial claim. So anti-slaps are motions to dismiss, right? Lack of evidence, all of that stuff. Now suddenly we've got an interesting issue. Wait a minute. You had a guy certify this thing, and now you're saying it wasn't certified. Further, Hall deliberately buried evidence in favor of Mitchell. Hall's good with a shovel. Specifically, Hall actively worked to hide the videotapes of Mitchell's Pac-Man record. Hall constantly claimed he did not know who owned the videotape, despite his online community continuously acknowledging the videotape as Mitchell's. On April 11, 2018, Mitchell texted Hall about his videotape, requesting that the investigation review it. Hall denied the request and proceeded to strip the record anyway. Hall also asked Guinness World Records to follow suit, and based on Hall's recommendation, it complied. And again, this is weird because this isn't defamatory. We have no, like, Hall can just say, I didn't want to uphold it, and if Guinness relies on us, I informed Guinness that that's not the record that we're recognizing. Guinness didn't recognize the record. It's a shit move, but it might not be defamatory. Moreover, Hall chose a biased third-party investigator, Chris Gleed, to shepherd the investigation. Even before Twin Galaxies initiated its investigation, Gleed had already expressed approval for removing Mitchell's records, commenting that he wholeheartedly agreed with conclusions against Mitchell and removal of his records. Not surprisingly, during the investigation, Gleed made no attempt to contact Mitchell or anyone associated with him, while making inflammatory remarks throughout the investigation, including asking Mitchell to fess up to cheating so that Gleed could stop his investigation. Damn, Gleed. Okay, so first cause of action, defamation, slander, false, and unprivileged publications. It's April 12th, 2018 statement. Twin Galaxies called Mitchell a cheater. They didn't, though. This is a problem with this filing. The judge is going to say, where did they say the word cheater? Who had established his record under false pretenses, at least implied as much, there you go, so that any reasonable reader would understand that Twin Galaxies had called Mitchell a cheater who deserved punishment by stripping him of all of his Twin Galaxy records and banning him for life from submitting further records. The statement was false. In fact, the records were established on arcade software witnessed by hundreds of people who have submitted sworn affidavits that they witnessed Mitchell achieve these scores on arcade software. Twin Galaxies made its defamatory statement with actual malice, knowledge of its falsity, or alternatively reckless disregard for its falsity without privilege or justification. Twin Galaxies' defamatory statement directly injured Mitchell by diminishing his reputation in both the video game profession and in his business, which has lessened his income. This is one point I will say is definitely in Billy's favor. It's much easier to cognize Billy's damages than it is anyone else in this entire situation. Like Apollo, that Dwayne Richards guy, whoever else Apollo Legends mentioned, and they may have some information. Billy Mitchell is known as a cheater and a fraud. That is known. It is known, right? Game of Thrones style. You find some weird chick who barely speaks any English and she will say, it is known. That's Billy Mitchell. We know he's a fraud and a cheater. Everybody knows that who knows about this story. Billy's damages are there. The question is everything else. Question is everything else about the case is a problem. If it's all true, then his damages are just a byproduct of, unfortunately, ill-gotten gain. In making its defamatory statement, Twin Galaxies acted with oppression, fraud, and or malice as defined by California Civil Code, and engaged in highly reprehensible and despicable conduct warranting exemplary damages. I think that's a stretch. But maybe. Second cause of action is false light. This is a weak cause of action. In its April 12, 2018 defamatory statement, Twin Galaxies accused Mitchell of cheating to establish his records, or at least implied as much. Any reasonable reader of the statement would understand that Twin Galaxies had called Mitchell a cheater who deserved punishment by stripping him of all of his Twin Galaxy records and banning him for life from submitting further records. I don't actually think that that's that strong of a point. I don't think that that's true either. I wonder if they've got any counter arguments for that. These statements were false. In fact, the records were established on arcade software witnessed by hundreds of people who've submitted sworn affidavits. The statement placed Mitchell in a false light that would be highly offensive to a reasonable person in Mitchell's position. Twin Galaxies' statement caused Mitchell damage to his reputation and to his business. Twin Galaxies made a statement with actual malice, knowledge of the falsity, and they acted with oppression. It's another way to say defamation. False light is it just paints someone in a false light, a negative light when it should be a positive one, or a positive light when it should be a negative one if that positive light could cause damage. I think that's a weak claim. The defamation is the main claim here. Defamation claim is not strong. And there's some problems with the articulation of the claim. But there is some good stuff going for them. Good stuff going for them is the article that acknowledged the idea that he was a cheater, that flat out said it, but that could be editorialized. Who knows? And the main thing I think is that Nintendo engineer, but we don't know the details of what that Nintendo engineer actually said and how he was qualified to certify the machine, if he examined the PCB, if he did any sort of investigation to go ahead and verify it, and they ignored it. That's a big thing. If he's just a guy who watched from the audience and said, no, that was definitely Nintendo software, that's weak. That's weak. Okay, so here's the motion to strike. This is what we're on right now. Lucky Dragon 783. I already own the entire Ace Attorney trilogy, and I hate it. I don't need to buy it. I already have it. David Smith says, arcade software, wouldn't it also be arcade hardware? The problem with having original arcade hardware is that this arcade hardware would be, what, 30 years old when he made it? You can't verify original arcade hardware. It's probably got refurbished parts, replacement parts, stuff like that. So all that really matters is the software itself. So long as the hardware doesn't have some sort of bonus feature, right? But that's my guess as to why they focus on the software itself rather than the hardware. Overcloud says, Nick, CDN lawyer waiting to license. Please don't judge. Hey, why would I wait? Why would I judge you? Your work has proven to be a huge inspiration. I thank you immensely for it. Also, that squeaker PPP will be servicing McDee's bathrooms while we interpret the law. Aw, poor guy. Hey, man, good luck on getting your licensure. I hope it gets approved as soon as possible. CDN, I assume, is Canadian. Canadian lawyers, they can be okay. Oh, yeah, CA. There we go. That's Canadian currency. Congratulations, buddy. I hope you get approved and everything goes swimmingly for you. All right, let's take a glance at this motion to strike. Now, this is 23 pages. I'm going to try and get to the relevant parts. I don't think we're going to, but I'm going to try. We're going to do our best. Oh, Malik Foxon says, hey, Boomer. Hey, chat. I'm being quiet today because I'm working on some art. But I got my Trump bucks this week, finally. Oh my goodness, did they have to send it to you by carrier pigeon? Here's your cut, Nikki. Love you, Nick. Love you, chat. Y'all are the best. Also, in Lemoyne voice, clean. Clean. I feel like I'm in Total Recall, right? Queen. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so they want to have this thing. Look at this. Already we've got them coming out with a table of contents, which is beautiful. I love tables of contents in lawsuits. Look at it. It doesn't take much time, but it just makes things nice. Let's see what we got. Now, this is a motion to strike. This is not their answer. This is saying this lawsuit does not even belong in this court. Get it out. This is trash. Defendant Twin Galaxies files a special motion to strike under California's laws prohibiting strategic lawsuits against public participation on the grounds that the defamation suit plaintiff William James Mitchell seeks to chill the expression of free speech. This is an anti-slap, right? Mr. Mitchell alleges that the decision of Twin Galaxies to remove his Donkey Kong video game records from its website records leaderboards is defamatory, but it is not. Twin Galaxies issued a statement on April 12th opining that Billy Mitchell's previously recorded high scores in the Donkey Kong video game on the arcade platform were not achieved on original unmodified equipment, and therefore they were ineligible for inclusion on the game's leaderboard. The statement is not defamatory on its face and was issued only after extensive public debate and independent technical investigation by the Twin Galaxies staff. The decision to remove the scores and the subsequent statement about the removal were not made with the heightened form of constitutional malice as required when a public figure like Mr. Mitchell is the subject of the defamation. Rather, the statement was made in response to a request by the public for adjudication of Mr. Mitchell's score. It was made in accordance with Twin Galaxies' score dispute procedure. So here is a statement alleging to another defense. This is a precursor to their qualified privilege defense. Look, we didn't come out and say that Billy did this. We had the record. It was fine. The public or somebody went through our process of asking us to review it based on their claim, and we provided our input. Therefore, we now have a privilege to assert these claims. And this is potentially a problem. Whether or not the privilege defense will work out for them ultimately, it is a defense. Hey, look, we were just minding our own business. Someone asked us because we are the people that you ask. We provided our opinion. It was unmotivated, and it certainly goes to the malice. Now, does it go with reckless disregard? Not necessarily, but it goes to the malice aspect of it. They asked us. It's privileged. Here we go. And the privilege can destroy the entire lawsuit right out. But Mr. Mitchell was not happy with the outcome of the investigation and decision to remove his scores. Even though he had an opportunity to submit evidence in support of his score performances and to engage in the lively public debate about the scores, he chose not to do so. Now, this is interesting, right? Because Mitchell is saying these people didn't consider all of this evidence. Well, did you submit it to them? Was it submitted appropriately? Instead of settling his grievance then, he waited until the adjudication process had come to end and brought suit in court to prove the veracity of his Donkey Kong score performances. But the judicial process is not the forum for him to get revenge. Allowing Mr. Mitchell to use the courts to reinstate his scores or to recover for defamation on his record would have chilling effects on the freedom of speech. Should his suit be allowed to go forward, this court would set a precedent for others to challenge public debate about video game scores in court. That would lead to an unnecessary waste of the court's precious resources. And a judge right now is going, yes, I never in my life do I want to hear about people fucking arguing over video games ever again. Never! Stop it! That's what the judge is thinking right now as he reads this. Yeah. Get this crap out of my court. I don't care about Donkey Kong. I stopped playing Donkey Kong when I got a job. When I went to law school. It would have the practical effect of discouraging Twin Galaxies and others from debating video game scores in a public forum. For these reasons, as set forth in greater detail below, Twin Galaxies respectfully request this anti-slap motion be granted. Facts. Billy Mitchell admits he is recognized worldwide and has appeared in documentaries about competitive gaming. I'm going to skip this. This is the public figure argument, and they're taking it right from his complaint. Twin Galaxies is a website that provides the public with a forum to discuss all matters involving video gaming, including scores and records. Look, I'm going to skip this too, because this was basically established in Billy's complaint. Billy Mitchell's scores disputed by a member of the public. Here we get interesting. Twin Galaxies website provides a mechanism for the public to submit a video game performance for adjudication and inclusion on a video game record leaderboard. Mechanism is driven by a system of peer review and public comment. Similarly, listen to these idiots like they're genome farming here. The mechanism is driven by a system of peer review and public comment. Similarly, the Twin Galaxies website provides a mechanism for the public to dispute existing score claims that appear on a game's leaderboard. The dispute claim process is a public process whereby the dispute claim is placed in a public forum for comment, review, evidentiary submission, and debate. On or about August 28th, Twin Galaxies website registered user Jeremy Young, under the pseudonym Zelnia, submitted a dispute claim where he disputed Billy Mitchell's King of Kong and Mortgage Broker's score. And the Boomer's score, which we haven't even talked about, which had previously appeared on the Donkey Kong video game points with Hammers Allowed leaderboard for the arcade platform of the Twin Galaxies website. On August 28th, the dispute claim was published on a public forum in the Twin Galaxies website, accessible to anyone for comment and debate, to vote on and to provide evidentiary support for or against. As of March 14, 2020, the Mitchell score dispute claim thread was viewed on the Twin Galaxies website 2,394,329 times. There were 170 unique contributors who commented or provided evidentiary support in the Mitchell score dispute claim thread. There were 211 users who voted to adjudicate the score dispute, 198 agreeing with the dispute and 13 disagreeing. And there were 3,770 content entries in the evidentiary record, which comprises the entirety of the Mitchell score dispute claim thread. The substance of the dispute claim made by Jeremy Young is that the disputed score performances were not created on an original Donkey Kong arcade platform system and printed circuit board, as required by the rules, but that it was, and see, this alone, this is stupid, But in Mitchell's lawsuit, he doesn't tell the judge what a PCB actually is anywhere. Now the judge has gotten it, and he had to wait for the response, as required by the rules, but that it was created on a MAME multiple arcade machine emulator platform system, and it was therefore ineligible for inclusion on the Donkey Kong video game points with hammer allowed leaderboard for the arcade platform. Jeremy Young contended that the performances that were recorded on videotape and submitted to Twin Galaxies as evidentiary proof of his Donkey Kong score accomplishments could not have been produced by an unmodified original Donkey Kong arcade system because the images and other artifacts that were recorded and displayed in the videotapes that Twin Galaxies referees used to verify and authenticate Billy Mitchell's score performances simply cannot ever come out of an unmodified original Donkey Kong arcade system. Here we go. So here's the sciencey aspect of it. Shade221 says, what's not being said is the dispute section of the forum isn't easy to find, and the majority of the views of the thread occurred after they stripped the records. I believe this 100%. That being said, that'll be up to Billy Mitchell to argue against in his motion defense. So Twin Galaxies engaged in a thorough investigation to determine the merits of the dispute and ultimately validated the dispute. Look, they don't... Here's the crazy thing about the defamation, right? They don't have to prove that they were right. They just have to prove that they believed that they were right. That's what they have to do. Because ultimately, this is a defamation action against a public figure, and we're going to be looking at knowledge of the falsity. So all they have to go with here is say, look, judge, we listened to experts, we listened to the community, we made the decision that these scores were invalid. And if we can't do that, we can't, without being sued, we can't run a video game, a reputable video game magazine. We can't do it. Upon receiving the dispute claim and all of the technical and scientific evidence provided along with it in the Mitchell score dispute claim thread, which I think, by the way, is here. This is in the declaration. Look at this. Here's the dispute thread. All of it. There's 1,000 pages. 3,770 posts. Right? We're not going to go through all that. I bought it. If I have time, maybe I'll go through some of it. But anyway, I shouldn't have bought it. That document was $40 by itself. But we have all of their evidence. They've provided the entire thread. Okay. Twin Galaxies independently embarked to verify and duplicate the science and claims that Jeremy Young provided, and thus started the process of investigating his dispute claim. Process of verifying Young's specific technical claims took more than 2 months. Twin Galaxies spent thousands of dollars on equipment and labor to verify Young's claims, and made its finding public in the Mitchell score dispute claim thread as the findings were determined. Mitchell was invited to provide evidence to support his score and to discredit Jeremy Young's dispute claim, but Mitchell chose not to do so. Now this is at, let me see what they're citing here. This is from the Hall Declaration. Jason Hall, and we've got, whoops. Paragraph 41. Let's take a look at paragraph 41 here. I was in communicate. So this is Jace Hall, right? I was in communication with Billy Mitchell during the time Twin Galaxies was investigating Jeremy Young's dispute claim. In my communication with Mr. Mitchell, I encouraged him to submit evidence to the public thread for comment and consideration. I also encouraged him to have anyone with evidence on his behalf to contribute to the public discussion for comment and consideration. I encouraged Mr. Mitchell to do so because I wanted to ensure he had a fair opportunity to present his case. At no time did Mr. Mitchell personally comment or personally present any assistance to Twin Galaxies in support of the validity of his scores in the public Mitchell score dispute claim thread. All right, this is initially a problem for Mitchell, right? Look, they have a process and you didn't follow the process. And this guy's alleging not only that you didn't follow the process, but that he specifically told you the process and asked you, please send us stuff. And you didn't do it. Claiming you had all of these affidavits, why weren't they submitted? I say it's initially a problem because Billy Mitchell has an opportunity to respond. And he gets to say, hey, wait a minute, that's false. He didn't contact me, or he didn't tell me where to submit it, or I did submit it and it was summarily ignored. That's the question, right? But as of right now, from the information we had, if he was invited to participate and chose not to, he can't complain about the stuff that wasn't included. So we'll see. But it's up to him to dispute that. All right. After Twin Galaxies' investigation and testing process concluded, and in light of the public's comments and investigation set forth in the Mitchell score dispute claim thread, and because neither Twin Galaxies nor any third parties could replicate the images and artifacts appearing in the disputed score performances using an original unmodified Donkey Kong arcade system, Twin Galaxies determined that Jeremy Young's dispute claim was valid. Based on the determination that Jeremy Young's dispute claim was valid, on April 12th, they posted in the Mitchell score dispute claim thread its ultimate findings of the dispute claim and made the alleged defamatory statement that, quote, we now believe Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong score leaderboard scores are not from an individual unmodified DK printed control board or whatever it is. And so our investigation of the tape content ends with that conclusion and assertion. Billy Mitchell's records of achievement was erased from the Donkey Kong score leaderboard accordingly. Argument. So here's the anti-slap motion analytical framework. I'm going to skip this. This isn't really, it is procedural and I'm not really interested in it. Procedural, defamation and false light claims arise from protected activity. Anti-slap protects any written or oral statement or writing made in a place open to the public or public forum in connection with an issue of public interest. Similarly, the California Code of Civil Procedure protects conduct in furtherance of the exercise of the constitutional right of petition, constitutional right of free speech in connection with a public issue or an issue of public interest, but has no public forum requirement. Postings on websites accessible to the public qualifies public forums for purposes of the anti-slap statute. The anti-slap statute does not define an issue of public interest, but the statute has been applied broadly to where an issue of interest to a definable portion of the public. So video game community, video game leaderboard community. That's all that matters. Courts have held the public interest requirement means that in many cases, the statement or conduct will be part of a public debate and the public therefore will be exposed to varying viewpoints on the issue. They're going to immediately tie this to the public access to the forum. David Smith says, what if Billy did use a MAME and the investigation was a screw job? Well, if he used a MAME, he should be in a different category, not in the original category. So then their investigation is fine. Oh my goodness. Here, plaintiff's claims arise from protected activity because the alleged defamatory statements were made in a public forum involve an issue of public interest such that the first prong of the anti-slap is satisfied. Okay, so the defamatory statements were made in a public forum. Okay, yeah, in the thread, got it. They involve an issue of public interest. Obviously, this is several documentaries and appearances. As he has claimed, he's the #1 score on a classic video game. Yeah, got it. So he passes the test there. Plaintiff cannot establish a probability of success in the merits of a defamation claim. This is a big problem for Billy. It's unlikely that he will succeed on this claim. Claim for defamation requires proof of false and unprivileged publication that exposes a plaintiff to hatred, contempt, ridicule, obloquy, or which causes him to be shunned or avoided, or which has a tendency to injure him in his occupation. Statements that contain such charge directly and without need for explanatory matter are libelous per se. However, if the listener would not recognize it's per quad. Threshold determination, defamation action. It's whether the plaintiff is a public figure. Courts have defined two classes of public figures. First, all purpose and limited purpose. Okay, this is a boring argument. Alleged defamatory statements do not have a tendency to injure plaintiff's reputation because they are non-actionable opinion. Maybe. The sine qua non of recovery for defamation is the existence of falsehood. Because the statement must contain a provable falsehood, courts distinguish between statements of fact and statements of opinion for purposes of defamation liability. Although statements of fact may be actionable as libel, statements of opinion are constitutionally protected. This, I think, is actually not the strongest argument for Twin Galaxies. Because they are saying that their investigation, they concluded, and they're presumed to have all of the knowledge. They concluded that it was not an arcade box, an original arcade box, printed circuit board, right? That's what they're concluding. If they say that, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's a fact. He either did this on an arcade box or not. I don't know that it's an opinion statement there, and that may be grounds to bring them along in the lawsuit. Is, look, they don't get to hide behind saying they're an opinion, that it's an opinion that it's not an arcade box. They said it wasn't an arcade box because they weren't able to determine it. Here's a bunch of people who determined it was. Why weren't they able to? Why do they say it wasn't? It was an arcade box. Now on discovery, may come back and find out that that's false, but it may get them past the initial thing. I'm here because I need to sleep. That's, yes. Although statements of fact may be actionable as libel, statements of opinion are protected. So let's see what they said. The alleged defamatory statements, as set forth highlighted in the paragraph 18 of Mr. Mitchell's First Amendment complaint, are nothing more than the opinion of Twin Galaxies. The language of the statement shows it is opinion in the way it is couched. The statement is premised with the words "we now believe," which indicates that what follows is the opinion of Twin Galaxies. Now, if he wants to get past this, he has to make the argument that those "we now believe" words are just weasel words. And that they have established, and they did, right? They established that they are the voice of video game leaderboards. They are the authority. In fact, think of it this way. Guinness, something every judge knows about, Guinness Book of World Records, listens to Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies says, get this asshole off your book. They take him off the book. These are the authority, and their opinion is fact. I'm not saying that will work. I'm not saying that that's going to succeed automatically. That's the argument that they need to make. Look, they're trying to couch this in opinion language, but their opinions are taken as fact by the video game community, by Guinness Book of World Records, and by the public at large. Their opinions are more than mere opinions, and they've flat out stated that they take a scientific approach, and if they failed in their duty of care to provide an accurate scientific approach, that is reckless disregard for the truth. Someone in the comment section here earlier in the chat said, it is scientific to be honest. Well, that's great. If they normally, this is how reckless disregard is argued. If you normally have a level of integrity that's expected by the public and you fail in providing that level of integrity that you would normally otherwise have, then you have a reckless disregard for the truth. This is how, so like, let's say you're suing the Washington Post for a false article, right? And you say, normally the Washington Post would verify this source, this source, this source, and run a fact check because that's their journalistic practice. But they didn't do X, Y, and Z here, therefore they fail their test. Now, in a way, Twin Galaxies has laid out their scientific process for this. If Billy Mitchell can show that they didn't do the scientific process, he can successfully argue that they were deficient in the duty that they allege that they provide to these claims, then he can possibly get past this initial problem. I'm not saying he'll ultimately prevail, but he can get past the anti-slap. And that's the key in defamation cases, getting past the anti-slap. So it's interesting that that they have set themselves up for this argument by talking about how credible they are. Good job, Zara. Good job, Zara. Okay, we've got Miss Metro Exo Kitty says, just wondering if my property is under construction and renovation and a random jogger shows up and trespasses on my property with tools, am I racist for defending my property/investment? Whether or not you're racist is a separate question from whether or not you are justified in the method of protection. This is of course a cheeky reference to Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmed? I don't know his name. I am working on getting an expert in self-defense law, a lawyer who's an expert in self-defense law, who had talked extensively about the Zimmerman case and has researched heavily the Georgia laws around this. I'm working on getting him either on a pre-recorded interview or the stream to cover this very issue. So stay tuned. As soon as I confirm with him, which will hopefully be by evening tomorrow, I will announce that show. If he is able to come on for a live stream, we will do that. If he is not able to come on for a live stream, we will do a pre-recorded interview with him. And I think it'll be very, very enlightening because there are some elements of Georgia law that really complicate this thing for the prosecution. Whether or not it's racist, I haven't personally seen any evidence of racial motivation. There's circumstantial evidence. There's a lot of, oh, they're good old boys, it's Georgia, all that stuff. And maybe it's true. I don't know. I haven't personally seen any statements from them that are expressly racist. Okay, so I'm not going to go down the, oh, these guys are racist or not racist in how they dealt with it. I'm more interested in, are they legally correct or are they legally incorrect in how they approach the thing? And apparently there may be some artifacts of Georgia law that play heavily into this. So hopefully we're going to get, I'm trying to do it live, Angry Baneling, but you got to realize my show is at midnight Eastern time, and these are lawyers who have to wake up in the morning and do lawyer work rather than streaming all night. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. The language of the statement shows that it is opinion the way it's couched. The statement is premised as we now believe, which indicates that follows is the opinion of Twin Galaxies. You don't get to hide behind, in my opinion. You don't get to hide behind that. Looking at totality of the circumstances and the context also indicates the statement is opinion. Totality of the circumstances and context show that Twin Galaxies was called upon by the community and public to validate his performances. Now, this is the privilege argument. The community provided evidence for and against the scores. Twin Galaxies considered that evidence and undertook an expansive and time-consuming public investigation, determined the merits of Jeremy Young's dispute claim. It is not as if Twin Galaxies made the statement on its own volition without being prompted. It's a point in their favor, but it's not a nail in the coffin. Instead, it was asked by the community as the final adjudicator of video game scores. See this right here. The final adjudicator of video game scores appearing on its website to consider evidence and render its opinion. But that opinion becomes a factual matter, right? Like, I hope you guys understand that. It does. I'm not saying that Billy's in the right here or that Billy's in the wrong here. I'm just saying that it's just my opinion, bro. That's like if the CDC says it's just their opinion, bro. But if the CDC is you know, the CDC comes out and says a fact, or Guinness, or an encyclopedia. They're asserting it as a factual thing, even though they're couching it in opinion. Okay. The fact the statement was made to the community in direct response to a demand for adjudication by the community militates in favor of finding that the statement is a non-actionable opinion. I don't think so. I think it's privileged is a better argument. While the words used, totality of the circumstances, the context, and the audience to whom the statements were made are considered as a whole, it is clear the alleged defamatory statements are non-actionable. So then they're libelous per quad at best, and plaintiff cannot show special damages. This is, I think they are per quad. They're not per se libelous. Per quad means under the circumstances. You need the context to understand the libel. Per se is, well, that guy raped a girl. Well, that's per se, raped a girl on this date at this time. People believed it. Then that could be per se libelous, right? And cannot show special damages. They're saying they're per quad. And I agree. It's per quad. So he's required to plead and prove special damages are defined in California Civil Code in actions for libel against newspapers, slander by radio broadcasts as all damages that plaintiff alleges and proves that he or she has suffered in respect to his or her property, business, trade, profession, or occupation, including the amounts of money plaintiff alleges and proves he or she has expended as a result of the alleged libel and no other. I mean, he's kind of done that, right? Compensatory damages are the special damages. I suffered real damages. Now, they need to allege an amount, is what they're saying. But clearly, he's a video gamer. This impacts his ability to submit scores to video game world records. And this damages his reputation in that way and his ability to earn money in that field. So I don't think he has too much trouble showing these special damages. He may need to amend his pleading to more properly plead them. He's only pleaded the ultimate fact that the alleged defamatory statements have lessened his income, but in order to survive this special motion to strike, Mitchell will have to prove that he has in fact suffered a loss of income as a result of the defamatory statement. He's not pled evidentiary facts showing a loss of income directly attributable to the defamatory statement. It's likely that he will be unable to prove this element of his defamation claim. He should be able to amend his pleading or provide it in a response here. Billy Mitchell is a public figure. Yeah, I think that's true. As a public figure, must but cannot prove the alleged defamatory statements were made with actual malice. I think his best bet here is reckless disregard for the truth because they've set themselves up as the arbiter of fact. And then if they didn't do, this is the thing, right? And they're trying to show general, like regular malice. I don't care about the other things. Yeah, the whole idea is that they're the arbiters of truth. They have a duty to follow a process, and they didn't follow the process. They ignored these experts. They ignored all these other people. That's the core idea here. We're not going to go through this. Statement is privileged under the common interest privilege. Okay? Under the California Civil Code, there's a conditional privilege for communications made without malice to a person interested therein. 1, by one who is also interested. 2, by one who stands in such relation to the person interested as to afford a reasonable ground for supposing the motive for the communication to be innocent. Or 3, who is requested by the person interested to give the information. So obviously they were asked for the information and they gave it. So now, again, it's another privilege. Privilege doesn't exist if there's malice, actual malice. But if they can show that it was done without malicious, it's privileged. And they win. If it's privileged, they win. And there's a strong argument that it's privileged if you can't show the malice, because they were asked by the community through a special request process to give specific comment on the specific issue. That's about as privileged as it gets. Plaintiff cannot establish probability of success in the merits of his false light claim. I agree. His false light claim should also be stricken. A false light claim is in substance equivalent to the plaintiff's libel claim and should meet the same requirements of the libel claim on all aspects. The collapse of the defamation claim spells the demise of all other causes of action in the same complaint which allegedly arise from the same publication. So false light is just another defamation claim for the same stuff. Conclusion, blah, blah, blah. All right. So there we go. There's their motion to strike. We have the answer document here. I'm not going to go through it right now, but it's a general, it's only 5 pages, really. General denial. They have affirmative defenses, failure to state a cause of action. This is a typical defense in civil suits. I'll go through it this will be quick. Plaintiff complaint fails to state facts sufficient to constitute a cause of action. Mitigation. Plaintiff is barred from recovery by his failure to meet the obligation to mitigate such damages. He should have done something to mitigate the damages. Estoppel. Plaintiff's conduct and or that of persons and or entities for whom plaintiff is vicariously liable and vicariously and legally responsible is such as to stop plaintiff from seeking the relief prayed for in his complaint against answering the defendant. So they're saying that he acted in a way that prevents him. Bad faith, basically. Unclean hands or bad faith. The argument on estoppel is probably that he engaged in a public debate about it, and he refused to engage in the important public debate on the forum. For the affirmative defense's waiver, he's waived any and all claims they may have had. This is a weak defense. And then due diligence. And this answering defendant exercised due diligence and relied in good faith on the representation of others. That's the privilege argument, basically. Avoidable consequence. Plaintiff failed to take precautions. He should have participated, right? That's their argument here. Latches. Has delayed and waited an unreasonable period of time in commencing this action, which has unduly prejudiced this answering defendant. This is really weak because he's within the statute of limitations, so we don't have a Latches defense here. Unclean hands, same as above for the estoppel. Res judicata and collateral estoppel. Claims are barred by the doctrines of res judicata and collateral estoppel. Plaintiff has improperly split his primary right and is barred from recovery in action. I mean, I don't see how. They're just throwing all of them out there, preserving all of these defenses. Release, offset, statute of limitations. Obviously, he's within the statute of limitations. That's why he filed the thing. No entitlement to attorney fees, and truth. Truth is the ultimate defense in defamation actions. Consent. He consented to the alleged defamatory statement. I guess they'd argue that by not participating. Non-ascertained defenses. So they're saying there could be more defenses. This is just a general statement. Look, we're preserving all of these defenses and all other defenses that we haven't ever thought of by filing this document. That's all this is. It's not helpful or useful at all. And this is a very common. We deny literally everything he said. This is a common civil suit. Prove it, bitch. That's all this is. So there's that. Okay. That's what we've got. I'm not going to go through the declarations right now. I'm hoping to get either Apollo Legend or Billy Mitchell on the show to talk about what's going on. Like I said, I think this is a tenuous lawsuit. I don't think Billy has the strongest case. I think Twin Galaxies has a lot going for it. We'll have to look at the other lawsuits against Apollo Legend. And Dwayne Richard and Tipster, I think, is being sued as well. We'll have to look at that and see what their stuff says. Hopefully they'll talk to me about it, and we can get some information. That being said, it's tenuous, but it doesn't really matter if it's tenuous, right? Sometimes filing suit is merely saying, I didn't do this. I'm willing to go to court and lose for it. Again, it's that social aspect goes along with the legal aspect that is a new facet. It's a new facet of the social world that we live in with social networking. Now, it may not be successful. I don't know if Billy has convinced people that he didn't do this, but he's at least stating it, and he's stating it to a court with money on the line. That can also be an asshole move because now someone has to pay to defend it. So we'll see how it goes. That's that. David Smith, so how is that YouTube video guy involved with this again? He is also being sued, but in Florida. He's also being sued, but in Florida But when I set up the initial thing and did the research on this, after that, I found out from Billy himself that he is hiring a lawyer in Florida to pursue those claims. And so I assume that means he's going to amend his initial pleadings that were placed in Florida when he hires counsel. So that's that. My own head is upstairs. Lady Rackets has been drinking out of it. Sorry. So that's that. Okay, well, we've got super chats to do. And then we'll call it a stream. This is an interesting case. Like I said, Billy is on tenuous grounds. From what I've seen from Apollo Legends, the countersuit might be similarly bad. Because I don't know how Billy defamed anybody yet. I'm willing to be convinced. But let me exposit on this for a minute. If your argument is that this guy's a dick because he filed a false lawsuit against me, and that costs me time and money and all of this stuff and chills my free speech, your answer should not be, I'm going to file a false lawsuit against him for the same damn thing. That is a bad response, in my opinion. I'm a humble opinion maker. Now, again, Apollo Legend may have a rock solid defamation claim that I haven't seen the details of, and we won't know until he files that countersuit that he's promised. But I'm just saying, if you're saying, well, his thing is stifling my free speech, I'm going to file a suit that stifles his free speech. That's not a good look. Not a good look. We'll have to see. But again, I don't know. I don't know what's in the follow-up document. All right, guys. I will be wrapping up this show. Some people have suggested that I'm really tired and shouldn't do Twitch tonight. I think that's wise. I am exhausted and I don't know why. So I'm going to skip Twitch tonight, but I love you. You can find me. I am going to skip Twitch tonight, but I will probably go hang out with my Discord compadres. As having Drexel over, I have not been spending as much time with my Discord compadres as possible. If you want access to the Discord, you can support me on Patreon or Jew Project Jew, and where Dick Master Simp will dox all of your payment information to Zoom on Jew Project Jew. You can support me on either of those platforms and have access to the Discord at the $5 level, and we can chat there. I will pop on Discord in a little bit once the show ends and I go get some food and have some just chill hangout chats there. Otherwise, I will see you guys several times this week, either here or on the alternate channel. Make sure, if you have not subscribed to my alternate channel, Rekieta Media, please do so. When there is not a live stream on this channel other than yesterday, there will typically be a live stream on the other channel that is not legally related in any sort of way. And I'm trying to build up that channel so that people know, okay, this is not a legal or law related stream, and those drama type streams will end up showing up over there. The law stuff will remain here in the ultimate outcome. Plus, there's just some chill video game streaming and stuff that goes on there. And look forward, or don't, to video game reviews and stuff. Like the purpose of the live streams there is to collect footage for upcoming edited content. I'm not great at that yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on that type of stuff, or working on getting the help I need to do that kind of stuff. But that's the purpose of those streams. And so that's what that is. But look for more of that coming up. Again, I will announce the armed robbery, Ahmed Aubrey. I will announce the discussion on that as soon as possible. There are other legal topics to cover as well. I'm going to try and get a hold of that cop who was fired and see if he'd be interested in coming on the show, promoting his GoFundMe for speaking out and all of that stuff. We'll see. We'll see. All right. On to super. Otherwise, if you leave now, peace. I'll see you later. Super chats, and then we'll wrap up. Moisten my lips daddy says, hey, here's an unpleasant thought. What if you had to wear a gas mask for some reason, but you were kind of sick? So you end up barfing into the mask, and now you have vomit inside your mask, but if you take it off, you'll die. I bet that'd suck. I've seen that so many times. I'm like, what if you're like an astronaut, you know, floating around in space, and then you're like, oh, all over. Oh, God. Ugh. Adult kids need milkers to suck. Says, how can we get you to do an occasional segment on the show that has media share from justice chatters? There's a lot of money we want to give you. Let us further troll and sometimes usefully inform you. Love you, Nikki. What do you mean? It has media share? I don't know what media share is. Adult kids need milkers to suck. Please send me an email. I pretend I just literally have no idea what you're talking about. You know him as Changus Khan. Says, since Ron got kicked off Twitter, if he watches your show and decides to super chat, justice chat you, do we call those Ronald chats or soy chats? Soy chats. Soy chats. Mercenary X says, Nick, when I talked about the punishment of Title 18, Section 242, I was talking about how if someone, say, a New York governor ordered something that got people killed, then the punishment would include fines, possible life imprisonment, or the death penalty. It'd be hard to prove. It'd be hard to get him anywhere in there, but Cuomo killed a bunch of people. Let's put that out there. Andrew Cuomo, with his instructions to nursing homes, killed your grandma. And he killed a shitload of other people's grandmas. And Andrew Cuomo sucks. He murdered old people. Old people are the most expensive wards of the state. Why do you think he might have done that? Miss Meadow ExoKitty says, why does every mass shooter have the same Shadow the Hedgehog OC Donut Steely's voice? I don't know. Remember, my position is that the governors shouldn't be shutting down whole states. The things should be narrowly tailored and specifically targeted. One thing I think should absolutely have been targeted and shut down and quarantined off are retirement or elderly homes, elderly care facilities, and their staff. I think that the nurses at elderly care facilities should have been double quarantined with extra pay included, and that the care facilities themselves should have been ultra mega double secret super gay quarantined or whatever you need. I think those were the highest at-risk populations. We knew that for the longest time, that they're of course ripe with the possibility of having an older person transmit to a younger person who may be asymptomatic or weakly symptomatic, and then transmitting to another vulnerable person. They are the most dangerous places in America, and the highest source of deaths overall of any particular demographic is this thing. We could have narrowly tailored and gotten rid of this massive source of deaths, and we didn't do it. And in some places like New York, they encouraged bringing people in and said, you can't deny them if they tested positive for COVID if that's the only reason. That's murder. And Cuomo should be hung from the rafters of a school gym. By his feet, though. He should live through it. Or whatever, and then go to prison. All right. Jay says, Night of Hopex says, I gotta believe Ron protected his account because after having nuked any hope of ever suing you successfully, he was going to start running the risk of self-harm if he damaged his reputation any further on that platform. Am I getting close, Ron? I don't know if Ron flagged himself down. Like, I know I saw 3 people send me their victory Ron flagged down reports, and all of them made me sad because I don't get to talk to Ron anymore. I don't want Ron silent. I don't want anybody silent. Jay says, Naughty Dog DMCA'd my tweet asking, is Abby from The Last of Us 2 transgender? No, it's mom. P.S. Monthly reminder that Ron hasn't changed. Ooh. For the Emperor says, Girly Man is an elf-banging heretic. He likes them, let's see, big Ilda titties. Shout out to Major Kill. I love that guy. Major Kill's the funniest, by far, 40k lore guy. No more money to Nikki until Rogel Dorn is on his wall. If I could get a Dorn picture, I'd put it up right next to Girly Man. They could glare at each other. All right, next. Angry Baneling says, on time in Sekiro. So bad at Sekiro, guys. I'm so bad at it. Lil Poo Poo says, face it, Nikki, PPP won. Yeah, he did. I know PPP won because not only did I was the first person to say he won. Well, I mean, after the event. The chat was saying he won. I said PPP won. Not only that, but he also did a stream with Jim in which he said, didn't I win, Jim? And Jim said, yeah. That is the sign of winning. So PPP won. I'm with it. 100%. I had no idea. Jim nailed it. He said, I don't think that Nick and Dick knew what you were doing. No idea. Still don't. PPP won. He got me. He got me. Hats off to him. By the way, guy's entertaining. I have no malice towards him at all. I think he's hilarious. Little weird, little out there, not my style, but he's got it going. He's got something. He's got a lot of people's attention. He should enjoy the shit out of it. A Miss Metro Exo Kitty says, finally finished the Eisenhorn Omnibus, your recommendation to me, and I loved it. Also, Ron Soya is 17-0. You lost, Nikki. Squawk. Yeah. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Read the Ravenor books. The Ravenor books are as good as the Eisenhorn books. I like Eisenhorn more than Ravenor, but the books are good. Books are good. Okay. Polyfrog64 says, Ralph of the Kill Stream is a lol cow. He's burned bridges with the fighting community. Well, I mean, with Terra de la Rosa, but Tim Loy said he'd love to have Ralph and PPP fight. He's better off at the Arby's parking lot for the fight with a cell. Polyfrog64 follows up with, just meet at Arby's for the fight. I mean, Tim Loy of Valor Fighting said he'd love to have him. They'd love to have him. Of course they would. They're going to sell tickets. People are going to fly in. They're going to get press on social media. Of course they want to do that. Polyfrog64 says, Ralph is a pussy lol cow. He'll back out. I hope not. Fight, please. Fight. I love going to Knoxville. I get to visit my friend Doug. I get to rent a car and drive 100 miles an hour from Nashville to Knoxville. I get to buy Tennessee whiskey. I get to buy Tennessee ginger ale. It's so much fun. I can't think of anything else I want to do. Give me an excuse to go to Knoxville again. Please, please, please. Zero Absolute Zero says, ever slip a toothpick down your pee-pee hole and snap it sideways? No! While it's in there, causing you to pee-pee blood and splinters, I have, do not recommend. Oh, God, why? Ooh. Ninja Wolf 1372. I've made it live for once in my first super chat. Hey, thank you. Here's some whiskey money for the stream with the 2 people. Have a good stream, Nick. Hey, thanks, buddy. Someone asked, how big of a donation from the Utes for a legal breakdown of My Cousin Vinny? Nothing. That's part of the planned content for the Rekieta media channel. Is breakdowns of movies and stuff like that. Those are coming. By the way, if you have Twitch Prime, if you have not Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime and Twitch, we can do watch parties, and I plan to implement those very soon, where we watch movies from Amazon Prime or TV shows or whatever together on Twitch, and I get to do commentary and stuff, and you guys can hang out with me and chat and all that stuff. So look for those starting as soon as I can figure out how to do them. We're gonna watch some anime and shitty movies and fun stuff. All fun, that's what Twitch and the Rekieta Media channel are for. All fun content. Nothing too crazy. Twilight Dragon 3 says, it's my birthday. Want to do a shot with me? Well, I don't. But since I'm not doing a follow-up show, I might as well give myself a reason to fall asleep. I'm drinking Michter's Single Barrel Rye. I hope you're still around, Twilight Dragon 3. Here we go. That is a great whiskey. Woo! Huh. Love your Lemois song covers. What's a good... We need to come up with the best Lemois song cover. Every breath you take. Let's see. Ninja Work 111 says, have you changed your philosophy to esoteric PPPism? No. Not a fucking chance. Look, the guy's entertaining. He's weird. He's off the wall. And I am too fucking old and disconnected to understand it. But he's got people's attention, unquestionably entertaining. That's the whole thing, right? Like, I'm not gonna dump on someone and say, if you can get, how do I word this? I respect anybody who can get 100 people to show up for a live stream. I respect anybody who can get 50 people to show up for a live stream. He's got 300, 500, 1,000 people. Guy's unquestionably charismatic and entertaining. I'm not gonna ever, like, even if I don't get it, why the hell would I dump on that? I don't know if people understand me. I want everyone to succeed at what they do. I don't want people to interfere with other people's success, but I want them to succeed at what they do. PPP is succeeding at what he's doing. Keep doing it. Oh my Christ, do it. That's I think that's where people misunderstand my philosophy. Even if I don't get it, if it's not my thing, I don't care. I want people to succeed. I want Maddox to succeed. I want Ron Toye to succeed. I want Monica to succeed, especially at the weight loss thing. That's what I want. I want people to make as much money at it as possible as well. If I can get that accomplished in any way, I would do so. That's the other thing. A long time ago, I heard this axiom, right? A good capitalist makes himself rich. A great capitalist makes everyone around them rich. Or not everybody, but people around them rich. And this is where I think Masterson is unfairly treated. Masterson has found a way to convert his own notoriety and ability to generate dollars to other people, me included. So am I a simp for Dick Masterson? I guess, if that's what you want to say. I think those texts were a little bit weird. I think poly relationships are shit. I've said so a million times, and I don't think they're good. But you know, who am I? It's not my place to tell other people what to do. I will say they're stupid for doing stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't like them. Lots of my friends do stupid shit. That being said, if I can help make people money, 100%, let me know. Let me know what I can do to help you. And I will. PPP, that offer extends to you I will do whatever I can. Even if you don't want money, whatever helps you achieve your goals, man. That's who I am. So, okay, but esoteric PPVism, I don't understand it, so I can't say yes. Primetime Durkheim TV says, where's your face mask, bigot? I got an email today from a company that, Sven Sorensen says, can you spot me $5,000? That would really help make money. Look, I can only spot you $5,000 if you're a fat guy wanting to fight another fat guy. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. A company sent me an email today. They want to do branded Rekieta Law face masks. And I guess I'll apply. I don't know. If you want to buy them, you can. I mostly want the meme more than the sales. I don't care if nobody buys them. They're going to send me one. That's all I care about. Is I will get a face mask that has Rekieta Law branding on it. But we'll see. I don't know if I'll get approved or not. But Rogue says, Nick, have you seen that potential remote wielding weasel Ron roamed around YouTube's comment sections since his Twitter account is suspended? Imagine being Ron. Okay, disregard immediately anything about the wisdom of Ron's actions and put yourself in his shoes. Ron is a weirdo who relies on the validation of others. Because remember, several people tell me I don't beat women, therefore I don't. That's Ron's actual argument about himself. Ron's actual argument about himself is other people say I'm not abusive, therefore I'm not. Not, look, I was an abuser and I work every damn day to not abuse people. I am constantly, look, I'm at risk of abusing people. Let me let you guys in on a story. I am a bully. Not physically. Look at me. You think I'm physically bullying shit? I'm a shrimpy little asshole. I'm tall. That's about it. I'm average size now. When I was a kid, I was little. Scrawny little kid. Doesn't matter. Always been a bully. And especially to fatzos. Always been a fattest. Make fun of fat people. That was my thing. I try not to do it as much anymore, but I sometimes do. Especially when it's Monica Rial, because that chick is fucking huge. That being said, I was a bully in high school. I was mean to people who are now my friends. I was mean to a lot of people because I was a cynical, snarky, sarcastic jerk. I own that. That's me. That's who I am and was. I will never, ever in my life not be that. Never. And sometimes it makes me act as an asshole to people I like. For example, I'll give you a personal embarrassing moment. One of my Discord people posted a picture in Discord, or someone else posted a picture of one of my Discord people. And I didn't know who it was. And I said something rude about that person. Like, who's this weirdo type thing? I don't remember what I said. Otherwise, I'd quote myself directly. I just don't remember. And they were like, hey, that's X person, you jerk. And I was like, oh, shit. Because my initial reaction was to be vain and mean and nasty. That's who I've been my entire life. I can't undo that, and I can't unbe that. All I can do is be on guard for that. I felt like a complete prick when I saw that picture. I commented on it, and I'm like, who's this weirdo? And they're like, that's this person. I was like, oh, fuck. That was nasty. That was just my default response. I didn't mean it. I like that person quite a bit. I am a bully. I am mean and sarcastic and cynical and snippy. I am. The only thing I can do in day-to-day encounters is recognize who I am and not do that consciously. I have to work at it, okay? I'm getting to a point. I know I'm being weird, but I have to work at it every second. It's like an addict, right? An alcoholic has to try for the rest of their lives to never drink again. A crack addict has to try to never suck dick for crack again. They have to work at it. I have to work at not making fun of people based on their appearances and my perceived failings of them ever again. And sometimes I get tired, I get drunk, I get lazy, and I do that. And it can hurt people that I actually care about, okay? This is all wrapping into Ron, okay? Ron is an abuser. Ron has to recognize that he is not fixed and never will be fixed. Ron will always be an abuser. That means that Ron has to permanently guard against the abuse that he does. Ron has to always be on guard, because if he gets drunk, tired, hungry, angry, lonely because Monica throws him in the cuck shed while she gets absolute chain pounded by Tyrone, and he doesn't get to watch this time because it's just too dangerous or whatever. Ron has to always be on guard against picking up a universal remote like this and laying it upside that fat bitch's head. He has to always be on guard against that, because that is who he is. DSP, pray hands. That's who Ron is. This is real. This is personal advice to Ron. And Ron knows this, but he's bad at it. If Ron is ever in a space of hungry, angry, lonely, tired, halt, or bored, halt B. I learned that from Death to Smoochie, which is the epitome of psychology. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired, bored. Ron has to not converse with people because he's at risk of being an abusive piece of shit. Just like me, I'm at risk of being fattest. I'm at risk of being a attractivist. Not saying that I'm beautiful, because I don't think I am, but I will certainly tell you if you're fucking ugly. Ron is always at risk of beating women or manipulating them into thinking they are less than him and taking advantage of that lessness, okay? Ron should not be in the comment sections when he is either hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or bored. And quarantine, guys, if you haven't noticed, quarantine has everybody in the B category. Everybody's bored. If you want to know why there are... I call the PPP debacle with Ralph on the Kiwi Farms an autism singularity. Because that's what it is. Everybody's bored. And they're all sucked into this thing. They're all sucked into this thing, and they all want to find it. And that's great. But that's where we are. If everybody's bored, their defenses go down dramatically. Look, if you're working, you're making money, you're out riding your bike or banging chicks or banging dudes or whatever you do, slurping down vanilla slushies, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like to do, if you're doing that, you're not focused on these other things. But everybody's bored, and I know you guys have seen, we'll call it esoteric autism. I'm not referencing PPP, I'm referencing everything on the internet. Everybody's bored, and they're all concentrating on these random stuff because their defenses are down. Their addictions and predilections are coming out. Me too. Me too. I have to be on guard to not call Monica a fat gunt. Jamie Markey is a fat gunt, so I'm not going to apologize for that. But I have to be on guard for all of these things. And I have to be on guard to being an asshole to people when I'm caught unawares, right? And I have been working on being, this is a long fucking rant. Sorry. I've been working on being a bully since high school because I don't like who I was. Don't like it. It's closed doors for me. It shut off good people from me. It's also shut off angry, fat, ugly women and men from me too. That's the good part. The bad part is it has shut off good people from me, okay? Being honest with you. And some of my best friends now are people that 15 years ago, 20. Oh my God, this is my 20th year class reunion. 20 years ago, I was an absolute jackass to. And it sucks because they're good people. I did never look past the exterior. So I'm always on guard for that. I'm trying to be better. Getting back to the point. What was the chat again? Rogue says, Nick, have you seen that potential remote wielding weasel Ron roaming around YouTube comment section since his Twitter account is suspended? Ron is bored. He's lonely because Monica has said over and over, oh my God, I want to get rid of Ron. I want to get away from him because he's fucking gross. Or whatever she has said, right? Monica has flat out said he's bored and lonely. And he's definitely angry. Ron has never not been angry in his entire life. He needs to stop. Ron, let me quote Drexel. You need to stop. You need to stop posting on YouTube, you weirdo. You are giving into your base desires. You're giving into who you are. And who you are is an abusive piece of shit. And if you don't recognize that, then you can go get Greenlanded. I don't care. You need to stop posting on YouTube, buddy. Let me help you. Make a new Twitter account, Ron. Or borrow someone's Twitter account. Message me. I will help you. I am a much bigger asshole than you are. You're a bigger abuser and a bigger piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. I don't beat women. You did that. I would never in my life would I hit a woman I'm romantically involved in. Oh my God, you weirdo. Never would I do that, but I'm a bigger asshole than you. Absolutely. And the biggest asshole was the one PPP showed on stream. I'm a bigger asshole than you, though. I will help you, Ron. I love you as a brother in Christ. As a brother in weirdness and brokenness. Message me, bruh. Send me a message. I will help you. You don't understand what you're doing because you're so bored and angry. And lonely because Monica threw you in the cuck shed or whatever. Look, she didn't throw you in the cuck shed. Frankly, she just wanted to eat 37 cheeseburgers. And those teeth made short work of them. I will help you. That's my goal in life, is to help everybody. Help everybody be as funny, based, red-pilled, and money-making as possible. That's me. You've got it. I'm figured out now. Shit, I gave up my strategy. Coach Red Pill, forgive me for taking your shtick. I will take it and beat you with it, you weirdo. Okay. God damn it. This is the longest rant I could have possibly done. It was all calm, peaceful, like Buddha. FDR says if Donald Trump pledges for his 2020 run, a new deal that'll be bigger than any new deal in history to prevent the incoming depression, would you still vote for him? What might be his plan? I doubt it. Look, Donald Trump lost my vote in 2016 by threatening to go after journalists. I did a spin-off rant. I didn't finish the original rant. How dare I? I don't even remember the original rant. I'm too drunk. Damn it. No. Trump lost my vote in 2016 by threatening to go after journalists. If Trump threatens to be the biggest, look, I'm the biggest communist, I'm the best socialist you'll ever see. Look, I'm tremendous socialism, better socialism than anybody. He'll lose my vote. He has it right now. Trump has earned my vote from 2016 because my problems with Trump were simple. Don't stifle the speech of the press. Just fight back. And he's done that dramatically better than Obama ever did. Obama arrested more journalists than any president in history. And I think, not better, more. I think Obama arrested more journalists than all presidents in history combined, if I remember right. Trump has done better than Obama on that. Trump earned my vote by not being who I thought he was going to be in 2016. If he goes, I'm more communist than anyone you've ever heard of or more socialist, I'm out. But right now I'm in. So we'll see how it goes. Damn it. Bad Dragon Knight says, next time Drexel tells that old story and talks about having ED, gotta tell him it's just bugged dick mechanics. Bugged blood flow mechanics, please. Bugged erection mechanics. Anything else? And I agree that journalism is trash, but I don't agree with arresting and charging them with crimes. I agree with just beating them. And Trump has beaten them by using his bully pulpit to maximum effect. And even when I disagree with Trump, he is a better messenger than Jim Acosta. And so CNN can eat all of the Ukrainian water sports dicks for all I care. I don't give a shit about CNN. I don't want a White House that is friendly with the press. I want a White House opposed to the press because I want the press to report on the White House from a negative position. I've always wanted that. Always, always, always. I was just worried that Trump would arrest them based on what he said. He didn't do it. He didn't do that. So he's got my vote until he does something stupid. Next. Nix Hex says PPP didn't win, but Masterson sure lost. I don't know if he did. The win and lose conditions, let me put it this way. Win and lose conditions from an external perspective are different from an internal perspective. I don't know what Dick's goal was in that. I'll tell you this. Let me give my honest assessment. You know, look, I'm drunk, so you know I'm honest, okay? No gun shielding. First of all, I am far too skinny to gun shield. And no dick shielding. Second of all, I would never block a dick from anything. That's weird. Cock blocking is lame. Don't do it. I don't like how Dick conducted himself on the stream. I don't like it. I think that Dick acted immaturely. He acted in a reactionary way. He didn't let PPP get out the limited points that PPP had. I think that was a mess. I still want to know what PPP's beef with New Project 2 was, and I don't understand it. Maybe he has a legitimate one, maybe not. Maybe it was some alternative goal that PPP achieved. Again, I'll unequivocally state, PPP won that encounter. He won it against Dick, against me, whatever. There's no shame on my part. He wins. He got it. He beat me. Whether it was a troll, whether it was honest, I don't know. I concede every defeat to him. Absolutely. The way Dick acted on stream was strange to me. I wanted answers and he didn't get them. Okay, that's my perspective. Now, Dick's perspective may be completely different. I don't know what he wanted to achieve out of that encounter. If Dick got what he wanted, then maybe he also won. I don't know. Let's put it this way. I talked to Dick. His Patreon is up from that PPP encounter. If Dick's outcome is money-based, he won. PPP could have also won if he achieved his goals. It can be a mutual win condition. One person wants one thing and another person wants something completely different and unrelated. This is the essence of negotiation, by the way, is the fact that two people can want disparate things and achieve both of them if they give up things that they don't want that the other person wants as win conditions. So maybe Dick and PPP both won. I don't know. Maybe Dick lost. I don't care. I don't know what his motivation was. I don't know what it was. All I know is that Dick's Patreon is up. If that's his win condition, he did well. If his win condition is anything else, he did bad. You guys can make up that mind. I don't care. That being said, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. I don't know if Dick lost. Like I said, PPP won. You won't ever find me saying anything different. I'm with it. You find it in the comments. You find it wherever. I'll say it. PPP won. He got it. He did it. He accomplished. He appears to have accomplished his goal. I respect the hell out of him. Great job. JT Express says if the doc costs $60, can't you ask Mr. Peacock for a discount? Nope. Nope, it costs him the same. Or ask him to get it for you for free, maybe. No, he would have to pay the same amount as me. Nix Hex, I see you saying please check your email. I will send you a Discord link as soon as the show's over. Absolutely. No problem, buddy. Richard Dangler. No. Yes. Says, will you start a GoFundMe to get Ron's Twitter account reinstated? No. Not that far. Peter Potamus says, hey, did you get that thing I sent you? What was it? I don't know. Peter, tag me and tell me what it was. You don't have to send money. Just tag me and tell me what it was. KCDC East versus West says, those burns are straight up filthy. Look at these things. Oh my God. Still the man, though. Any advice for two goddamn gentlemen hoping to get in the sweet, sweet grift game? Be you. Be genuine and don't be afraid to be who you are. Either people will pay or people won't pay. That's up to them. Never ask people to give you money. They owe nothing to you. They owe nothing to you. Don't ask for money. Don't demand anything from your fans. Your responsibility is to give fans a reason to watch. Everything after that is up to them. Period. And if you ever get more or less money, don't change who you are because of that. Make the content because you like it, not because you get paid. Okay, next. Nathan Brendan Master says, hey Nick, my urban fantasy bad girl comic Hexcraft Mechanics Ultimate Control is available on Indiegogo for those who love sexy, dangerous ladies. The last thing I sent you is a Harvey Birdman attorney at law reference. Oh, straight over. Sorry. Revox. Listen, someone says there's a rant at every comment. Sam, I hope you know I have had shots of whiskey and I haven't had enough food tonight. And so there is a rant at every comment. You got me. Revox says Billy Mitchell has terrible hot sauce. Just saying. I've never tried it. Billy, if you want to send me some hot sauce, I'll review it. Tornado Man says Billy also filed suit on Cartoon Network once too. Yes, he lost, if I remember right. But I haven't read it. No, not Twitch, just ramen. Anonymity. TLJ Screwjob says Billy licks his lips more than Lemoyne. Listen, I had the record for Donkey Kong. I had the record for Donkey Kong because because of the breathalyzer disabled category, because I can't manifest the requisite lung strength for an intoxilizer, but I still got 1,000,000 points on Donkey Kong when I jumped over the barrels. I have to live in video games because in reality, I can't even go up a flight of stairs without a respirator. Please don't bring COVID to my house. Please, Christ, don't. Jim says Billy and Co are just a bunch of spurgs fighting over tarred praise. That's very likely true. Mr. Snuffle says, I may be a simple caveman, thawed out after thousands of years. I don't understand the strange and frightening digital technology, but I do know I didn't cheat at Donkey Kong. That's the trick. Don't cheat. Don't cheat. Roy Margari says, I want to stick up for the mods. People were reposting Dick's address and they were appropriately deleting it. Thank you. Thank you, mods, for doing that. PPP sowed the seeds of distrust in your mind by appealing to your love of free speech. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't fight for free speech if you're constantly getting tossed off of YouTube. Do I think you should be able to say everybody's address online? Yes. And someone has my docs, and when they eventually drop it, am I going to freak out like a moron? No. I mean, it's going to happen. I knew when commenting on the internet that doxing was an inevitability. It just is. It sucks. I hope they don't, but they will. And when they do, it'll just be. But for now, YouTube's terms of service demand that we moderate and remove doxing. That's why I hate it. I don't want to moderate and remove anything. I don't care if you dox people. I've gone on plenty of records saying that. I've talked to the doxers from Kiwi Farms and all that shit. I don't care. I don't want it to be this way. But for now it is. And those are the rules we live in. So. Next. Revox says, lol, these are adults, good lord. Roy Margari says, I've never heard of this guy. How many consecutive vest streams has he had? Oh, and by the way, guys, there is a false DMCA claimant acting on DSP, besmirching the good name of DSP. Let it be known to the world that DSP has denied involvement from a guy doing false copyright claims on DSP's behalf, but without DSP's consent. The DSP, no matter your opinion of him, has not done this round of claims against various people. And in fact, the claimant messaged me today threatening an officer of the court to not be a lawyer. Can you imagine that? Thinking that this rampant, massive dildo of a human would threaten an officer of the court to not act on behalf of a client. Oh my goodness. While committing perjury. Don't do it, fam. Don't do it. I will find a U.S. attorney and I will give them every piece of info. If you're abusing the DMCA against my client, I will proverbially screw you over to the extent of my ability and my client's consent. Absolutely. Don't threaten me, you dumb bitch. If you're gonna go around false flagging people, that's your business. I will represent my clients to the fullest. And if that involves turning you over for perjury to U.S. attorney, I won't think twice about it. Don't fucking threaten me, you pussy. All right, next. Afro Man John says, this just in, noted masturbator Darkside Phil is being given all of Billy Mitchell's records. There you go. And Frail says, alleged high score was filmed at home by Billy Mitchell on VHS. Damn. Fighting the Cold One says, hey, Nick, I got my Trump bucks. Here, have a little something. Thank you. Thank you. Tamara Holloway says, not The Happening or Purge, but we're being culled. Yes, we are being culled. Absolutely, especially in New York. V2K Gaming says, your thoughts on the Caiaphas Cain, Sandy Mitchell novels. Have you read them? No, I have not. Look at this. Look at this. Where are they? Look, now you guys got me. Look at this. Look at this. Caiaphas Cain novels. Oh my goodness. We've got the limited edition box set. Caiaphas Cain, book 1 for the Emperor. I've never even opened. This is a first. You guys have witnessed the first time I've taken these out of this sleeve. I've never read them. I hope they're good. Are they good? Anyway, they are my favorite of the Black Library 40K books. I've heard they're great and I've never read them. I want to. Nick Naylor says, oh my God, your reaction to the PP hole chat. Dude, that was awful. I don't ever want to see a toothpick in a penis. Esme Illis Anime says, in Kermit's voice, it is Wings Day, my chads. What? It is Wings Day? Banana Stand Money, you are missed. Thank you for streaming. Stop Kermiting suicide, Nick. Thank you. Keck7 Go says, is gluttony a sin, Nick? Apparently. I don't know. I don't think we understand sin appropriately. I really don't. I think let me get my sermon hat on. I think the purpose of sin is to call it out in ourselves, to be self-aware, not judgy of others. I do think we can judge and discern other people. I don't think we should condemn other people for their sins while we have our own numerous sins. And I don't make fun of fat people for being gluttons. I make fun of them for being fat. Siren Jag says, Lemoyne sings, you don't bring me flowers. You don't sing me love songs. I don't know the tune. Those white pants are a sin. They're white shorts. They're even worse. I was wearing a different colored shirt all day, but I switched to white for the stream. So there you go. Angry Baneling says, praise Nick, fat shamer extraordinaire. Look, it's just who I am. Miss Metro ExoKitty also says, Ron Soye is an abusive POS who wields a remote but can't get his VCR click to get off 12 o'clock. Pathetic at best. It will be the battle of ages when he strikes his universal remote on Monica's diamond strength horse teeth. And look, I know something about fake teeth. Those things are durable as shit. Angry Baneling says, oh wait, no, Giant Elven Titties says, Rabbit Girly Man is one of my favorite clients, Nikki. Oh my God. He's awesome. Roboot is grand. Do they have a weird stain on the back of them? It's because I cooked some steaks today. I probably spilled juice on them. Skeetneed says, Nick hates the mentally challenged. Confirmed, especially autistic people. Also can't type autistic. You can't type autistic in the YouTube chats anymore? That's too bad. That's too bad. Cemetery Lady says, Nick, don't beat women. Funk that he's above it, but he'll call a thought fat and think nothing of it. That's true. That's true. King Goobat, welcome to the lawyer level on the channel. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. And then finally, Dawn Wanderer says, Dickie the Negotiator, you also piloting a big... What? In your Kermit voice recite, cast in the name of God, ye not guilty. And Rockstar Dane says, hi, Nick, long time no chat. Hey, thanks, buddy. Just graduated with my bachelor's degree. And perfect, you're streaming on my celebratory night. Going to send you my new EP release via email. And for all else, check out Kites and Power Lines. Hey, buddy, send it to me via email. I will play it with your permission. So, all right, guys. Wait. There are 2 more. 3 more. So Malik Foxon says, how dare you? Drexel obviously won that encounter. Oh, no doubt. Drexel had it. Reed says, Trump and Dick are master trolls. PPP just made lame jokes the whole time. Sometimes the trolls can be the heroes. Dick won over PPP. Also, please stop saying Dick and PPP so much. It's giving me disgustingly phallic thoughts. Malik Foxon says, by the way, in case anyone believes otherwise, I think it's clear that Nick had an issue with the Game Awards and doxing because YouTube does. Imagine your job fires you because someone who isn't even your friend walked in and said some wordy dirds in front of your boss. I don't care, guys. I really don't care who you make fun of or what words you use. The people I know who are protected classes don't care either. I prefer we could use everything. And I long for the day when we can all say all of the gamer words about everybody. I do. But until that day, we got to live under these rules. All right, guys. Let me hit that outro song. I don't know what just beeped on my computer, but something did. Here we go. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. I hope... No, wait, it's not working. I muted it. Just a second. There we go. There it is. Boomer. Akikama says EVS makes everyone money too. Yes, he does. He's great in that way, and that's one of the things I really respect about him. He's not about him. I mean, he is, but he's also about the people around him, and that's the trick. So, all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. The chat does always win. I'll see you tomorrow somewhere. Stay tuned for the announcement. No Twitch tonight. I need to go eat and fall over. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Peace. There's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Blaming tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folk from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career.
the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet. There's no one who explains the throng better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law